What's good, people? What's good, people? Black Eyes TV. Yes. It's discussion time again. We're going to talk about reparations.
What's
today.
good, people? What's
that.
good, people? Black Eyes TV. Yes. It's discussion time again.
But still that. Boom. Yeah, people. We're gonna have our usual chop up. We are going to talk about the reparations thing, whether or not we're making progress, how people saw the day. So anybody that went to the event, feel free, jump on, come on, see what's playing. Let me talk about what's good. And any other subject matters that come up. I'm open today. I wasn't too sure whether I wanted to even talk about the reparations day too tough. So again, if you have a subject, you want to bring it, the link's in there in the description. Just come in, shoot your talk, speak your thoughts, all of that. But before that, while people are coming in, hit that like button and all the rest of it. Decide what you're doing. I'm just going to play this ad that we have for our Black History Weekender. Anybody wants to come in, people. You know the play. We'll start after the ad.
New Beginning proudly presents the ethos of Black Families First, a Black History Weekend annual celebration,
which is comprised of our kings, queens, scholars, speakers, and global families within the Black community to embrace the DLA Rites of Passage International Exchange Program for youths aged between 15 and 21 years old.
This is in honor of the late, great, resting power, Dr. Lila Afrika. The online fundraising event will be held on the 15th and the 16th of August this year. So please, give what you can to invest in our youth.
The two-day event will also be broadcasted via Black Eyes TV 7 on Facebook as well as YouTube. Black power starts with your melanin, uniting the Black family first.
With no feeling of control, as we wonder what it is, and we wonder what it was, and we wonder where we'll go.
essence of life is freedom. Without justice, there is no freedom. And if we have in our archery books only males, we've already decided that women are worth nothing, and all of our children or girls are being raised feeling inadequate and lacking. So it's all about justice, giving to women, bringing to the forefront the contributions of women of the past. It also does, what it does in the present is that it brings the girl of the present, make her aware of her possibilities that she might not have been aware of. But it's about justice. I do not, as I often say, I don't want a situation where, yeah, women should blah, 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 pull the sheet over women. And then on the other side, the man is saying, well, the women, pull the sheet over men. No, that will take us nowhere. What is important and what our ancestors have shown us is that it's life, a society works well when it's about competences. If the women are greater warriors, then let the women be in the army. If the women are greater thinkers, let them write. If they're greater this or that, whatever you are competent in, that's where you should be. Because in order to have excellence, you must do things by competence. Without competence, there is no excellence. If I set up a store and I want my little cousin to run the store for me, there is no guarantee that I will make a profit. The objective of having a store is to make a profit. But somebody who's there just because they're my cousin is not going to make the store work. I have to get someone who's a good salesperson, who can take care of things, do inventories, do everything that has to be done. Then my business will work well. So it's the same in a society. We have to give everyone opportunity, but then we have to make choices based on competence. Whoever is best qualified should do it. Not about how many women, how many men. So, like I often say about Asian Parliament lately, it's just a bunch of men who, for money, will do whatever. So when someone says, oh, there should be more women going into Parliament, I said, oh, no, I do not wish that at all. Not that Parliament. Now, if you have a true Parliament that works to defend the people, then yes, I would like more women. But if this thing here, no, let it be. They can have it all.
What legacy are you leaving behind?
The Black Family First program aims to reconnect the family at the root.
Healing both ancestral and personal trauma by way of creating bonds through communication, understanding, reason, compassion, connecting oneself to family, friends, and the community.
Reminding the older generation to be role models and mentors, and in turn, teaching the younger generation the building blocks on how to live, love, and respect one another for a stronger family union.
That way, the next generation bears the fruits of our labor and our experiences. Black power starts with your melanin, uniting the Black family first.
All right, people. All right. Smooth, smooth, smooth. All right. Who's in the chat room? Who's there? Let me see you. Say something in the chat. There's 9 of yous already in here. Come on. Big up yourselves. And you see the link in there. Jump on. Let's hear from our people then. Come in. And don't forget, as you come in, hit the like button. Please. Let's get rid of this screen. It's just me one out here right now. Let's do this. What's going on, Nakima? Big up, greetings. We're talking a little bit about the Reparations Day event, how it went, what people think, whether they think it's still effective, and whatever other subjects you guys want to talk about. I'm open today. I don't mind taking on whatever you wish to put forward, unless it's complete foolishness. But yeah, let's do this. Come on, people. Hit that like button, grab the link, come in, chat with me. I can't be out here talking to myself for too long. You saw the advert for the Black History Weekend. That's the 15th and the 16th of this month. Wagwan, Melanated Goddess, big up to you every time. Yeah, Black History Weekend, 15th, 16th. We're going to have royalty, teachers, community leaders, YouTubers, supporters of the Black movement, all coming together for 2 days worth of information, lectures, presentations, however you want to put it. It's going to be live. It's going to be good. It's going to be decent. It's going to be affirming. Some plans will be going on. Some good talks will be going on. What are my observations of the reparations? Okay. I went down there. Obviously, I was down there. It was all good. There was a lot of people there. Sorry, there was a lot of people that wasn't there that normally I would have seen down there. Let's say that first of all. And the spirit, the vibe was nice. Everything was cool. There wasn't really no problems or too tough, in a big way anyway, that I noticed. But there was a clear, what's the word? Breakup. It wasn't one themed thing. When I got there, we had some Respect and his crew, Black Family First, marching in from one direction. There was already people in Brixton Square. The Rusters was already there from what I could see, beating drums. There was an excessive amount of white people there. I gotta say that. And it did make me laugh that the one white crew who were playing drums was beating their drums so loud that they were trying to outdo the whole thing. But yeah, there was like 4 different things kind of going on at one time, even though they were all there for the same thing. But when the Black Family First lot and Leo Muhammad was talking, the Rasta people over there was still banging their drums and then thing. There was no coming together. There was no one select time to hear speech. At time there was several sound clashes when it came to music and whatever else. Yeah, there was a nice vibe. As I said, it was nice to see everybody. And again, Chewy being on lockdown, from that aspect, it was all good. As far as for me, the full force of feeling the reparations movement, kind of slightly was watered down. True, there was a lot of dysfunction this year. Certain people, as I said, weren't there. Certain people have stepped down from certain positions, and certain organizations are not doing or weren't involved either. So, there was a few different funny things in that sense going on. But that's my take on it so far. Who wasn't there that you expected to be there? I didn't see Andrew Muhammad. I didn't see, and I could be wrong, these people could have turned up at some point and I had missed them. So let's take that into account. I didn't see Dean, but okay. I didn't see some of the elders that are usually involved with the reparations movement, because again, at a certain point, Esther went off. She was on a truck and they kind of went somewhere else. I'm not sure whether they went to Burgess Park or something. So again, there was multiple things happening. Plus there was a bike ride of people that came in from Walthamstow on normal push bikes, a whole group of people that rode into the event. So yeah, it was, like I said, there was loads of different things kind of going on, but it just did not feel the same. As I said, even the speeches, I heard Leo Muhammad say a couple words, but there was no real collection of speeches that, again, everybody was sitting down and listening to. Nobody kind of paused for anything. As I say, it was the one group, Black Family First. Big up to Raspek, big up to Mr. So Solid for supporting the movement. Leo Muhammad was over there with them. Big up Bugs, the usuals. They were there doing their piece. But as I said, there was a very broken vibe going on as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know again. And again, that's not to say that everybody wasn't talking, everyone wasn't getting on and it wasn't cool. But there was this undertone for me where, it weren't one of them. Simple as that. It just weren't one of them. I'll be lying if I told you it was. You know what I'm saying? And again, I saw Got Kush was filming. I saw Veli down there. I saw a few people, YouTuber wise and whatnot. But yeah, it was just a funny one. Didn't see my man HMP TV down there, Robert. Yeah, it's missing. What would you like to see next for this movement? Boy, I don't know, because there's angles. Again, we've done shows on reparations before, so there's angles to reparations that don't involve money necessarily, and they don't involve white people. They involve self-repair. So there's aspects to the movement that we have to amplify and work with and keep pushing, because there's things through our cultural experiences that we need to deal with and we need to re-educate ourselves on, and we need to, as the statement says, self-repair over these things. But when it comes to the government side and and the money side and whatever, they're never going to give up the P. Again, in case anyone ain't noticed, this is the one country where they're saying racism don't exist. They want to call it imperialism and these kinds of silly things. So, when I'm looking at the global status and everybody's marching, but here in England, the Prime Minister's saying that, and it's already politics and complicated enough in America, let alone here. They're not giving up no money. So for me, when it comes to, what are we doing? Are we going to number 10 or signing petitions? Again, all of that can still run, but you're asking someone to give up their power, and they're not going to do that. So at some point, we have to be realistic about what we're asking for and what we're prepared to take. So that needs to be a conversation, and probably not a conversation for online. That's an offline conversation, because it'll probably be sticky. We can talk about it. If anyone wants to jump on, people who are coming in, don't forget, hit the like button. Yeah, donate to the channel. I'll put the link for the PayPal in there. Feel free. And the link to come on the panel is there as well. So please click in. But yeah, as far as I said, petitioning and all that kind of behavior, I don't really feel at this point it's effective. And I think a lot of people who was involved in the movement for the last few years, they're starting to feel like the movement has slightly changed, whether it through wording, whether it be through people who are now involved in the movement, whether it be the amount of white people that are involved in the movement on the day. There's various aspects that need to be addressed in that sense if we're really going to talk about where we're going from here. There are a few people who look like us who are not for us. Not most definitely. That's always the case, but that's where, again, you got to have a strong community. If you've got a community and you've got a code of conduct, it's a lot easier to ascertain who's who. But that's one of the problems. No code of ethics, no real code in general of behavior between us. So now it turns into a free-for-all, and this is how you get, wankers infiltrating the set a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? And then it takes us a lot longer to identify them, because again, there's no set code that we can just clearly say, you're out. Yeah, you're not it. You're not that. You're not representing. There's a free-for-all. Everything's customization. Everything's, he believes in this, but cool, innit? He can still come in and, he does this, and he's got white girl, and she's got this. No. Gotta get on code. That's the only way we can identify quicker, because there's always going to be infiltrators, and that's the only way we can identify a bit quicker on who's who. Yeah, me. What's that, Melanie guys? Do you feel it was better the years prior? It was. There, at the very least, as I said earlier, that when you went to the reparations, they, you know, in the couple years past, it felt more like a one event, meaning that there was a centralized stage. There was people that are talking, everybody was listening. You know, there was still music, there was still drum circles, but at certain points, everybody came together to kind of hear certain things and acknowledge each other. Whereas this year, especially, I did not feel that. You get me? There was a pocket over here, pocket over here. You know what I'm saying? What wanker for ages? I know I'm from East London. What can I say? It just comes out. So what? People's just listening. Any more questions? Seeing as I'm on the spot now. Anything you guys want to know, or you want to ask, or you want to talk about? You know what I'm saying? Seeing as nobody's gonna like click the link, let me put the link again. So like, and it is in the description underneath the video. Come in, people. But if you got a question for me, please drop it. You know what I'm saying? And if I can answer it, I'll answer it. Just copy this link up. Links in there. I saw people hit that like button as you come in. Don't forget, for the brothers and sisters who want to work on themselves, where can they start? Ooh. Boy, again, it's code of practices. So look, there's many. If we're talking to supposedly conscious people who already are aware of African spirituality and African-centered cultures and all of this kind of behavior, then I would just say examine the moral code of these cultures. You know, nobody's perfect. No human being is perfect 100%, but you will find that each of these codes, each of these cultures come with moral codes. Even whether, you know, if you're into the Kemetic science, again, go see. It's telling you how to be. It's giving you a code of conduct, how to be, to the very littlest things of not speaking out of turn, not speaking when you don't know something, not spreading gossip, how to be in, you know, in a relationship situations. That would be my first thing. Outside of that is the age-old one of, listen, do you want people to do whatever you're doing to you? So again, it's nice and simple. If you're walking around, I don't know, slapping people across the face, do you want to get slapped? That's the basic level of understanding. You understand? And again, that's a very self-centered way of kind of looking at it. In a sense, wait, who's coming on? Lakiva.
Greetings.
Wagwan.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, my dear. I can hear you
Wonderful.
fine. Talk to me, you're here. What's good?
Everything is great. In specifically for myself, everything is great. But yeah, man, I'm glad you jumped in. I'm glad you jumped in and had this topic. I was due to come down to London, but unfortunately we couldn't get the transportation. But I'm glad you showed it on the Instagram, and I'm glad you've given your feedback now as well. I've not actually been to them before.
Okay.
But I don't know whether there was some sort of, I don't know. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, to be fair, because of obviously COVID, things have slightly changed, isn't it? But
go on, drop it.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit disappointed, man. disappointed that you've had that experience, you know. I'm disappointed that it wasn't how it has been in the past, and certain people are not necessarily visible, or certain poignant people who have been visible and quite profound in what they do, and I wasn't really there this time around. That's my impression I'm getting from you. Can you hear me?
Well, yeah. Sorry, the last bit just broke up. Say that last thing again.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was saying basically that I'm just a bit disappointed with that, you know. And you said in the previous times it's been a lot more structured. Is that fair to say? No,
Yeah, I'd
have I
say that.
gone?
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, no. Say that. That's what I'm saying. It was more structured because everybody was on more of the same page. But as I said, over the last few years, there's been a few issues, and for various reasons. But for me, it's like there's a couple things. There's a changing of the guard. I do believe there's certain brothers and sisters that have been maintaining certain movements for a hot minute now, and certain young people have to come true, i.e. like the Respects and the Black Family First crew and the Black Pound Day thing, which was out there. It got promoted. To your question, Melanie, it did get promoted, but that's one thing where you've got this changing of the guard situation. So you've got the old interacting with the new have various ways of looking at it, whether they're more interactive with other races, to the way they choose to execute and talk about the way they want to deal with the struggle or take the movement forward. So you've got those aspects. Then you've got old organizations, which again is another issue, because this year there's been a lot of back and forth with the Nation of Islam and unsettlement there, with, for those who don't know, with the Leo Muhammad and the rest of them kind of thing. So that internals, I felt, spilled over, because normally Nation of Islam would lend their full support to the event, and this year they did not. And Leo, to his credit, was still there, still supported the thing. As I said, he spoke, came down with his biker guys. So little things like that. And as I said, there's a couple people in the original reparations movement who was working with Esther who aren't involved anymore for various reasons. But, generally it's for different entities and ways that people are choosing to deal with the movement moving forward. That's the best way I can describe it. But it probably manifested itself for the first time as I saw it, in physical, when we was at the event. And as I said, people know people, so everyone was talking and interacting, but there were definitely about 3-4 pockets of stuff going on that was not interacting on a whole, and nobody was stopping tunes for next one's speeches or none of that. You get me? Big up, Frank, whoever you are. I haven't seen you. Wagwan. You get me? As you come in, people, remember, hit that like button. If you want to come in and say anything, I'm open to whatever subject matter. Right now, we're just talking about the Reparations Day event that happened on the weekend. And chopping it up. But again, if you've got something you want to talk about, if you want to ask me a question about something, if I can answer it, I'll answer it, or we can get into it. You can answer from the chat, or click the link, jump in, and let's do this thing. Get me and chat. Yeah, sorry, sister.
No.
Any other questions?
I'm just looking at the comments real quick. I don't think there are any other questions that I can see, but yeah, I put a couple of questions up there because it's about
drop them, talk.
Yeah, no, the people that I am around, there's some people that actually are coming out of a certain type of thinking and indoctrination, and they're willing to do that spiritual work, And I have a few suggestions that I've given to them as well, and I just like to get other people's explanations or opinions or advice as to how and what they did to help them. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called racial identity development. You ever heard of that before?
Racial identity development.
Identity
I
development.
haven't heard that particular term. I can
No.
ascertain what
It's in,
it
yeah, absolutely. Go on, sorry.
No, go on. Explain. What is it, and where have you come up with it from?
Identity. So yeah, racial identity development it's from the psychology field, and I believe his name is Dr. William Cross, and his team, and a team of people came up with this terminology, because as Black people, as white people, we have 4 different types of stages that we go into in terms of race and identity. And I believe mixed race people, or people who identify as being mixed race, have 5, and it doesn't matter what race they are mixed with, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Well, again, I would attest that half-caste people or mixed race people, they suffer a lot in that sense, innit, of not knowing where they're coming and going a lot of the time, because they're caught in the middle. Depending on who they're being raised by, what's the general attitude in the house, and then obviously their first interactions when they hit road.
That's,
you know what I'm saying? Because again, they can be treated on one hand like they're the good, almost white guy, and then they do something wrong as a child in school, whatever. Next minute they get the nigger treatment, and it just spins their head out of control. So 100%. I can appreciate that.
So these stages, I believe there's 4 or 5, and then a little bit more for biracial, like you're saying. So you got the first stage, which is the pre-encounter stage, and that's about absorbing beliefs and values about the dominant culture that's in any given area. And obviously for us, it's the European culture. And obviously understanding or unfortunately being miseducated that white is right and Black is wrong. Then you've got the next stage, which is the encounter stage. And it's about acknowledge the impact of racism on oneself. Then the next stage is about immersing yourself into your own kind of identity, and trying to get kind of that, I don't know what's the word, trying to embrace your culture, love it, even though you've been taught these opposites about it. And then obviously you've got the next one is internalization. So it's about that own sense of identity, being kind of like embracing it, loving where you come from and your community. And then you've got like the internalization commitment. So it's basically being on that path, continuing on that path. Sometimes you get people staying at stages 1 and 2, or 1 and 2, or 3 and 4. But yeah, so yeah, instead of I'm trying not to get too clinical and too detailed with that, but I hope that makes sense so far.
Do you think it's effective so far, from what you've seen?
Effective. I think everybody has a different stage of what they go through. Everybody has a different type of encounter, pre-encounter, internalization, immersion. So I can see where they're coming from a psychological perspective. I can see where they're coming from, and it might show in behaviors, it might show in other ways as well. But yeah. So when we were talking earlier about people who want to start looking into themselves, working on themselves, and you said something about the codes, understanding the code of that community. That's really important. There's unwritten codes and kind of blatant codes, so covert and overt codes as well. So is there
the lack of having one is the problem?
Lack of having one is a problem.
Yeah, that is the reason why we're having a lot of dramas. You know what I'm saying? Again, having a cause, more importantly than even getting the money or whatever from reparations, is the self-repair part. If you don't have a code, then you don't know what you're repairing back to. You have to have an idea, blueprint of what you're trying to restore.
Like a
So, you know, that's it.
returning that, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I think it's about legacy and identity and purpose. Legacy, identity, and purpose. A lot of us, unfortunately, are not clear on our own legacy, on our own identity, on our own purpose, you know. And I would say get some support, especially mental health support. I'd always encourage that. I think most, if not all, Black people should look into that sort of thing. Just by being in this part of the world or the Western part of the world, where you're more likely to experience those micro and macro aggressions from that systemic and systematic oppression that we're in illusion. It's an illusion, guys.
No, that's it.
Oh, it's
no,
like
that's
the Matrix. Listen. I'm a bit.
This is what they do.
This is
Go
what
on,
they
tell
do.
me, what you going to say about the Matrix?
Oh my goodness. So metaphysically, it's like it's deep, isn't it? It's obviously very deep, and it is a system that we're in. It is a matrix system that we're in. I think we're all we don't even realize it. So this reality that we've been given, we have to understand that this is a reality that's just been given. So when you look at the matrix, when you plug into that reality. But when they, or particularly Neo and Trinity and Morpheus and the guys that took the correct pill, when they realized the manipulation that they could do in that reality, their skies were the limit. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's hard to. It's a challenge. I find it's a challenge sometimes to describe what it's like, other than using that explanation. Plugging in and out, and sometimes we're just doing it. We're so indoctrinated in the systems that we're in, the way we do things. It's so embedded in us, unfortunately, or fortunately, because we can change. We can re-educate ourselves, retrain our brains differently, you know. And that's where I say the kind of mental health support might be useful. There are dodgy therapists out there and organizations. That's important to understand. You have to try different ones, and don't be scared to change, you know. But yeah,
definitely ongoing.
I think. Say again, sorry.
It's definitely an ongoing change situation. If you're not prepared to build, then it's not gonna happen. But one of the things I will say, what's good, Melanae Goddess? Big up for coming on and
God bless, big up Queen.
Big up, Sister Nakima. How are you?
Everything is wonderful. I cannot complain. How are you, Empress?
I see you dropping that knowledge, that good old clinical knowledge. I was like,
little something. Because you're in mental health too. You're awesome, man.
Yes. I wanted to. I had a question about something that she just mentioned.
Wait. What was that? You both got mental health?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? You both got mental health, or you both are in mental health?
Everybody has mental health.
Everybody. We should strive to have good mental health. We should strive to have good mental health. Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. I like the way you're trying to drop that in, you brother. You're killing it. That's all right. I like the comedy. I need a bit of that this evening.
Gotta try and figure it.
I had a question about something Nakima just said about the Matrix, right? That reminded me of a conversation I had with someone earlier today, actually. And when you said like plugging in and plugging out of the Matrix, right? To me, what I wanted to hear, like, are you saying it's almost as using the knowledge that you are in the Matrix to your advantage within the Matrix? Is that what you were saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, 110%. Absolutely.
So when you say advantage, what would advantage look like in your opinion?
Oh, that's a nice question. I like that. If you're doing spiritual work on yourself and learning about who you are according to the cosmos, according to metaphysics, you're able to then plug in and out of the matrix, not having fear, because a lot of it is fear controlled. So if we look at it like that, if we, all of us, everybody on the chat, everybody here did not have fear. Now, only fear I'm talking about we should have is the fear of falling and loud noises, or, you know, those kind of innate, those type of usual. If we took away the psychological, emotional fear, all of that, what type of people would we be? Oh my goodness, I think we would be unstoppable. We'd be like Neo. We'd be like Neo. We'd be like Morpheus. We'd be a trinity, you know? So I think what we should do, but this is my humble opinion, is look inward. And people say this all the time, and it sounds a little cliche, but literally meditate darkness, the candles, and just the praying. If someone's into praying, really spend time in silence, darkness. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But the more we look within the darkness, the more we'll be able to see. If we limit and minimize our 5 senses, touch, taste, smell, sound, and sight, and look inward to the inner eye, the inner smell, the inner sound, the inner senses, then we'll be able to navigate this matrix system a lot better. Because we are not just physical beings. We are not just physical beings, you know. We are so connected to the cosmos and the energies and the frequencies and the vibrations of this planet, regardless of what's going on, whether it's negative stuff or positive stuff happening. We have to come into that space, man. We have to learn to move into that space. I hope that makes sense. And I hope it makes a question.
I don't know what
go ahead.
No, I'm really joking. Sorry.
You're really joking, Richie. You see.
Sorry, I got a funny bone on today. I'm trying to just
all right,
keep it.
Man. We like the giggle,
man. No, I feel you in what you're saying about the inner workings of yourself in order to understand. Because again, you have everything inside of you in it. So the universe and society is a bigger construct that is already going on within you.
Come on now. 100.
So if you understand yourself, then you will inherently understand the roadmap of what's going on outside in society. But I will say this, that people need to start remembering, and it's a point that a lot of people don't like to deal with.
Go on.
And the same way it was highlighted in the Matrix, that if I present 2 doors to you, then by default, I know what you're going to do. See that conversation he has with the architect, and he's telling him, listen, there's this door, there's that door. You know what I'm saying? You can go through whichever, but again, I know if you go through this, I'm not going to see you again, and all this kind of talk.
Sure.
This is something that we have to start to understand, that there's certain predetermined choices that are made for us. So again, when it is time to be accountable for your actions in certain areas, that's why it's even more important to be that person. You understand? Because when you look at the overview, there are only probably a few times in your life that you will get to make somewhat of a choice. And again, it's still illusionary. Yeah, but at those key times, you need to stand on your square. Because if you don't, you'll be surprised how many choices then from that point onward will just be inherent. Where again, you're just tumbling down a hill now, just you're falling through doors rather than opening doors and going through.
All right. I 100% get that. And I also understand that some people might have to fall. Some people might have to choose whatever they choose in order to know their destiny or reach their destiny or whatever it is. Because there's a few of us, like I was saying earlier, that look like us or sound like us even, and they're not for us.
Let me say something to who's this? Sharifas. Yeah, listen, I was dying. Did anyone see these articles that they were writing about respect and
oh gosh,
the black family first? Who are these mysterious militia dressed like this and where they coming from. Listen, you know white people can't handle all black events, let alone black people dressed in all black and covering their faces. It's all too much for them.
Come on.
I did laugh my head off when I saw that and I saw the articles. But again, this is the fear factor. And remember, let's be clear, for the amount of years that I've known about the reparations march, I've never seen it on no news. I've never seen it on no telly. So that little article where they're talking foolishness about, you know, the Black Family First crew is probably the most amount of media coverage that they've ever given the thing. And I'll be shocked if somebody can show me more stuff that they actually showed other than that one piece of footage that everybody's seeing, which is the crew actually marching into Brixton Square. You understand? But it's funny how a picture can, you know, be used to tell 1,000 different words and stories and innuendos. But again, it did make me laugh. And that was Nigel Farage, I believe, who was making that statement, just for context of who was saying, you know, who are these people and all the rest of it. But again, this is the problem, because besides them idiot white people that got comments to say, I know there was a lot of white people there who may have had good intentions or whatever, but it seemed a little bit too oversaturated for me. And as I said, there was one particular drum circle of white people. Yeah, they were beating drum nice. Don't get twisted. They weren't out of tune, but they were going so hard, walking directly through the middle of the whole thing till I had to look at them like, you understand what's going on here? That kind of thing. So that to me was a little bit of a comedic part. You understand? What's this?
Richie, where were they? Who were these Caucasian drumming crew?
I don't know, because from what I saw, when Esther, who is in charge of the movement, she was on a float and it seemed to go up the road somewhere. Now, some people was trying to say they were going maybe Burgess Park. I'm not sure about where they was exactly going, but they seemed to follow her and go off that direction. Then the Black Family First came in, or came in first on their bikes. They stayed in Brixton Square. The Rastafarians and the drum circles.
You keep calling them Black Family First. They not the Black Family First. They the Forever Family.
Black Family. I know. Thank you. Look at that. American had to tell me. It's because I got our Black Family First thing on my head. Yeah. Big up to Respect and the crew. Sorry about that. Yeah. But yeah, that crew stayed in Brixton Square.
It'd have been nice if their name was Black Family First.
I know, we'd just all be in sync one time, innit? Just like a long thing. You get me? But yeah, that was my observations. But yeah, I did see, you know, some of the news coverage. I've even phoned ITV and Channel 4 and Sky for coverage. Yeah, this what I'm saying. They're not trying to show that. And it's even crazy. Obviously, they didn't do the march this year to Parliament. So, but imagine, normally there's like 2,000 plus, you know, black people walking through the streets, and they don't put it on not one news network. You wouldn't even know that there was this disruption and drums banging and all the rest of it. Big up God of Jacob and all this kind of thing going on. You understand? They just keep that one under wraps. So again, other than to inspire scaremongering tactic, it don't surprise me that they're not going to mention it in no other way. And remember, the narrative is we don't want that Americanized racist trouble coming over here. That's what these silly dickheads are trying to go on with. They're actually going on like the problem of racism is in America and we don't want it to affect here. You understand? So
what they're trying to say is we don't want the black community to stand up in England. Like, we don't want that kind of power, if you like, within the communities to happen. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, they're basically saying that you know, the blacks over there in England have been very compliant and nice, and they clear we we treat our blacks very well. Clearly, they have no problems. They have nothing to complain about, and don't start taking up the plight of Black Americans and start causing fuss over here.
100%. I agree.
It's
No,
crazy.
It is.
that's
It,
it.
it is.
This is what they do. They're trying to create that illusion. And remember, there's no racist America without England spawning it,
Oh,
funding it,
wow.
sending the worst of its worst over there to start, your so-called forefathers. You understand? Like, this is where it is. That's why it's an inherent struggle that's got to be dealt with on a complete diaspora unity link up as far as black people are concerned. Because when they're ready, they're working together, US, England, other countries in Europe, decide they got the job done. So if we're trying to get out of that cycle, then yeah, it can only run the same way. You understand? With a coming together. And I tell you what, anyone who did not watch the Professor Bello show that we did the other day, Professor Bello, Haitian professor, she is amazing. She dropped some hard facts about the Haitian Revolution that people need to understand.
Yeah,
hard facts. Like hard facts about history, her viewpoint on spirituality, obviously, the black family. But yeah, people need to go and check that out, because again, we gotta understand the levels that's been going on, and they're not talking about it. 9 million people killed before they even started slavery in Haiti. Those are sick numbers. 9 million. Like this is what I'm saying. So when you understand the levels of barbarism, and again, something I found out, or she elaborated on, which was the English part in that, the whole slavery and trying to take over the island and stuff. But again, this is an age-old war. They know what they're doing. So we have to come different. You know what I'm saying? That's why the reparations thing, the going back to the day itself, it was cool. It was a nice link up for black people, but strong sentiment of what we want or what we're trying to achieve, no, I think we missed the mark this year slightly. Yeah. There was definitely pockets of real stuff, real initiatives that we need to take on board. Yeah, I mean, the Black Pound Day, big, you know what I'm saying? We need the economic thing. We need to push the family first aspect and all the rest of it. But the full push for why we was there, nah, we missed it. We missed it, in my opinion.
Is there going to be another one next year?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to keep going, isn't it? Unless there's some progress. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would assume that it's going to keep happening. It's been going on forever. And realistically, until you get the reparations, why would you stop?
No, of course.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. It just needed fresh blood. That's why I say hopefully by next year, based on some of the people that are trying to get involved and new people that are trying to bring certain things to it, that will maybe revitalize it.
What's going on this weekend, Richie? They've been talking about something supposed to go on this weekend, and they were like, oh, they better not show up and they're all black this weekend, blah blah blah. What's going on this weekend?
I don't know. At one point I heard that there was supposed to be some white boys that wanted to come down to Brixton, but that was about it. And again, like the realistic nature of that happening was very slim, because they would have got.
No, I think it's supposed to be a protest of some sort. Like the black community is supposed to be basically doing like a part 2. I don't know. Maybe if anybody else in the chat, if anybody in the chat knows what I'm talking about, they were talking about it on G Block, but I didn't really catch the reason what was going on this Saturday.
The only other slight protest I saw happening besides that was about the hair situation. Like, they just ruled in Jamaica or something about you can stop children from going to school if they've got locks.
I heard that.
And different things like that. So, but again, other than that,
It said you can stop kids. You can stop.
yeah, you can stop kids from going to school if they have locks. Yeah, and this was in Jamaica that they made this ruling, so it's even crazier, obviously,
Meaning
because
that
they have.
they keep their children home, like if they don't believe in education, or you're saying that like a teacher can send the child home for having locks.
Yeah,
The
send the
latter.
child home and stop
What?
them, prevent them from going
Yep.
to that school based on their hairstyle. So
Oh
they
my
can
god.
refuse them entry into that school based on that.
If that's not
Exactly.
systematic or systemic or system, what is
Well, look, it's beautiful in amongst all of this backdrop of racism and us pushing for this rights and that rights. You know, they can still make a ruling on your hair just to show you again, this is the matrix, isn't it? We're controlling it.
Yes.
You understand?
Greetings.
Like I can just let that black cat walk
Greetings,
past you and I've just
country.
changed the coding again.
Yes, I'm gonna jump in
What's
while I'm
going on,
running.
country?
I'm gonna hit the
Nice
floor
to
running.
hear.
Yeah, I've just chimed in, so I'll just drop into the mix. So you're talking about here. We have to keep in mind here is very key in terms of the original people of the planet, because that is our unique genetic imprint. And it coming from Jamaica, also the home of Rastafari, I believe it's a strategic, it's very calculated. It may not have come from Jamaica, it may have come through Jamaica. So this is all part of the psychological attack that's going on at the moment in terms of just generally on the planet. It's all coming to an accumulation, and it's just really about code breaking and just observing what the master plan is, which is not going to work in my humble opinion, because it's written spiritually in many books. Whatever your religion you are, this time has been written of, and it's also the end game is written also, meaning the meek shall inherit the earth if you're Christian, etc. So all of their diabolical plans will not work eventually. There may well be catastrophe, but after the catastrophe comes the peace, and that's where I believe we're going.
100%.
So wait, so is it black people who made this law in Jamaica, or is it white people? Like I'm confused.
If we're talking
Yeah,
about the hierarchy of laws, then I'm going to assume that there's white people in those positions or
yeah, as
80s
percent
yeah,
people
Richie.
in the streets. Because I was going to say, remember, they started that silliness about the hair thing here, and I've seen it in America, where they
in South
tried,
Africa.
yeah, in different places to try and push it. So again, as Konsu just said, strategic that they'll do. They can nail it in Jamaica, then they've got a better case to go anywhere else in the world and start telling black kids like you can't have locks. If I can get away with that shit in Jamaica, then I can get away with that shit anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a crazy one.
I wanted to bounce back though to the conversation about family first. On the weekend, where I was chopping up with I was with you, Rich. But it's
Yeah,
interesting. The
he really was.
visual, we were hanging out hard. But the visual of family first, I guess, can be deemed very intimidating. The only thing it didn't have is weapons in comparison to America, but it showed uniformity and unity in some sense, and it came from the younguns, which was refreshing. And my viewpoint on this is that you see, I mean, I work with young people like 24/7, and what I do in my work is I bridge the gap between the oldest and the younguns. So what's happening is the young people, it's fantastic what they're doing, our younguns, the next generation, but I mean, when I was 19, I was doing the same thing, and they don't know that. When I pump them with a fist and respect for what you're doing, they don't know who I am. They don't know who people are around them. But we was on the. I was in Brixton, propagating as a Nyawabi and spitting knowledge, when I was that age. So I was doing my own version of the works. But my point is that respect. what he was doing, he was speaking on the microphone to his crew, and what he was saying was different to the visual of how they looked. I mean, what he was saying is that he was saying about what was he saying? He was saying that our most powerful weapon is our love for each another and our love for community. He was saying that the weapon that we have is the power of our mind. All right. So he was spitting real knowledge, you know. But I guess if you're gonna put on the news, you're gonna mute that, and what you're gonna show is brothers and sisters looking hard and looking like they do not play and looking like they're ready, you know. But really, my sense of what's being created there is potentially similar to the Black Panther Party for self-defense, where they said, you know what, if you're going to step to us, we're stepping back. But we're also going to do breakfast programs where the Black Panthers had their own ambulance, the Black Panther had food programs, the Black Panther had clothing programs. So they were really doing real community work. And potentially, you know, we'll see how it goes. That could be the case, and it would be a beautiful thing.
Ashe.
Yeah, man, don't get it twisted. We need to see a militaristic front. I don't have a problem with that. White people have to deal with that. Because when they're ready to send them their thugs out and go on like say, ooh, yeah, and show force, they can. So again, I don't have a problem. Man dressed up militaristic in a uniform, whatever, because again, whether it's bow ties and suits or whether it's bulletproof vests and combat boots, they're still gonna have a fucking problem. Like this is what we gotta be real about it and realistic of where we are. They're still always going to have a problem.
Yeah,
understand?
if it's in a context like the Black Panther strategic planning, of course, they were called the Black Panther for self-defense. All right, so we're not talking about looking for it. We're talking about if you step to us, we will defend ourselves, which is fine. Okay, that's human nature, and we know that's what not the brothers and sisters are about. But yeah, in the context of self-defense, it's fine. In the context of, you know, going for another fraction group, maybe a European group, and then fighting problems, you know. Yeah.
No, I feel you. And Konsu, tell the people, did you feel like it was a one event? Did you feel the same as how I was saying discombobulated slightly? Did you feel like the point of the whole thing was punched home? Give us your opinion, because you were standing right with me the whole time. You saw what the play was. So
Yeah.
let's get your
Yeah.
honest take on what was going on. And did you think that there was a lot of people that weren't there?
Well, what I felt, I mean, I was just scanning, and as well as just it was like a reunion, and it since the madness of quarantine, it was just like everyone just kind of saw, yo, you know, you saw people that, you know, that you ain't seen for a long time. It's kind of like that. But I mean, when I came midday. The first thing I heard from the people I was speaking to was that Black Lives Matter they got spun around. It was like, nope, you ain't coming in here. And Black Lives Matter was bare white people, which is it's quite profound actually, in terms of holding a placard that says Black Lives Matter and you're not of the culture. So that kind of sums up what that organization is forming into. But in terms of the march, I did not think it really drove home about reparations. I mean, me personally, I will be interested in getting involved in some form in terms of reparations when I see politicians on the soapbox, when I see lawyers talking about reparations, when I see strategic planning about reparations of the you got ADOS in America. Well, I'm talking more about what's the term, the acronym. It would be British Caribbean descendants of slaves.
Nah, I'm dead.
British.
That's dead, bro. I don't like that descendant slaves talk. Puts
I
man
know.
in a
I'm
box.
not sure about that language.
I'm not feeling it
I'm
at
a
all.
descendants of the original people of the planet, but you know,
That's
we
what
can
I'm
go
talking
there.
about. When you say descendants of slaves, it makes man sound like, well, that's what you're going to continue to be in it, because
Yeah,
that's
it's
your
a victim
lineage.
mentality. It's a victim mentality.
Get me? You are
Yeah.
always going to be a slave. That's why I don't feel that ADOS talk. Get me? I know my
Well,
guy made it.
maybe about the enslaved, you know, because I do, like, they are the descendants of people who were enslaved.
There
I
you
don't
go.
see. Yeah, I mean, the slaves. I think that they chose that word for like, you know, it has a lot of power to it. Like, I mean, not power, but like,
Politically.
yes,
Political.
politically,
Yeah.
right? Because it's, I want to say that, you know, even in my professional field, I was at work one time and a teacher was doing a lesson plan, and they were talking about slavery, and they were writing something on the board, and I guess trying to use language that the students could understand. And they said something like, when they saw the slaves, blah blah blah. And I said, they didn't see the slaves. Those people weren't slaves. They didn't go there and see slaves. They go, like, I just got so defensive. Like, why did you say that they were slaves? They were African people, and the Africans were enslaved. And the teacher said, "Oh yeah, yeah," and they went and kind of erased it and fixed the sentence up. But I think that people just use that in their common language, not really realizing that
The
they're
subtle
literally
difference.
calling the people slaves. Like, the slave is their identity, as opposed to they were, you know, an African native or Congolese person, or a
Yeah.
Nigerian, or, you know, a Ghanaian who was enslaved. Like, there's a difference.
No, it is a difference.
I agree.
This is levels of comprehension. This is a problem that a lot of people have. They overlook these subtle nuances of comprehension. So again, someone can present a statement to you or a title that they want you to run under. And again, if you're not thinking like that, you're running under a whole different meaning now, because you just haven't thought carefully about what they're saying to you. So it's a small thing, but it's a massive thing. It
Yeah, you're
changes
right.
the whole context of everything that we're talking about.
100% agree with that. Yeah, I think English fails us all the time. I think it's about spelling spells. um, the word sounds and have it has word sounds and have word power, if that's the terminology to use. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
hearing you, love. We're listening.
hearing
We're
me?
listening. I can hear you.
Oh, good,
Everyone's
good,
just
good.
muted their mic, which is good.
Oh, no probs, no probs. Yeah, yeah. So I was talking about word power, word sound. We have to be careful, and I'm glad, Melanated Goddess, you were able to pick that up, because people, it's so indoctrinated within us. You know what I mean? At times, and if you can, as many times as possible, people, I'd encourage you to just, politely, obviously, diplomatically, how you can, just correct people, no matter how they look as well, even if they look like you and I. Correct people, and let's get the right, what's the way, narrative, the correct narrative, the correct diction.
Well, you
Yeah.
see how you're saying you're a conspiracy theorist. This is where,
Yeah.
again, I've already looked at this, and this is the thing. They're not doing it by accident. It's on
No,
purpose. They're giving
that's
you
it.
these acronyms to go under. They know what they want you to, call yourself. They know how they want you to identify. But again, it's subtle, and it's also attached to a real thing, which is the reparations. That's why George will tell you, me and him done many a show where, again, I'm saying that ADOS thing is foolishness. George is a little more diplomatic. He'll like talk about it, but again, we'll get the same response, which is, what, you don't want reparations? You don't think black people should get reparations? And again, it's not about that. And as we've already had to point out many a times, there's been plenty of organizations before ADOS that were dealing with reparations and trying to put things on the books and all of this kind of thing. But they didn't need to be called descendants of slaves. Yeah,
Nope.
just as simple as that. But again, you've attached something in a way where now to question it becomes a major problem, isn't it? Like, and some might say there's groups, and again, I don't really want to open this conversation up. This is just a slide, but again, on the reversal, this is something that again some people have espoused when we're talking about the word black. You understand why we shouldn't maybe using, we should call ourselves more, call ourselves some next thing or whatever. So, you know, but point being that you know, we have to be hip to the game, and whatever language we are speaking, in this case, English language, you have to understand comprehension. You have to understand the subtle nuances of the language, especially if you're talking about taking a title for yourself, because words are spells which bind and cast and create situations. So if you're really saying, yeah, this is what I am, and you're saying it loud and proud, then know what the hell you're saying in it before you say it. Think about it carefully, the deeper, wider connotations. Think about 2, 3, 4, 5 generations on, when everyone else is gone from this time and somebody's reading a book and they're trying to perceive what's gone on. Yeah. How's that going to look then when you're not around to say, oh, no, well, we say ADOS, but it's actually this, or we call ourselves this, but it actually means this, or when you're not there to explain, can your movement title be perceived in a way where, again, we can get it? We can get it. So, again, we need to think of that. Wagwan Spice. Wagwan Black Spice. You coming on? You come in the chat. Come to speak and speak. Yeah, come in. Anybody who's in the chat, big up to you always. Yeah, hit that like button as you come in. Don't forget, people. Yeah, if you want to support the channel, hit the PayPal link, please. Allow the super chat. Don't make them take 30% of the money. Get me? Just hit the PayPal, but most of all, hit that like button, please. Get me? Yeah, that's what I was saying on that. Sorry, if anyone else wants to come in, please do. And remember, today it's an open panel, so meaning that I didn't really say up to only talk about one thing. So if there is something else that anybody wants to bring,
can y'all hear me?
What, George? I can hear you.
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? I just got finished watching that Beyonce with my wife. That Beyonce, I don't know what to call it, video or movie. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I was actually watching it. I was astonished. I think that is important because with the music today that's being put out, that you got Meg Thee Stallion, girls all around the world calling themselves savage. You got all the male rappers. That video, to me, when I watched it, it brought out African and African American culture and it merged it. It merged how you doing, brother? It merged Caribbean culture where you had Jamaican brothers in this rapping. You had African sisters in there from the continent singing. They had the leopard print in the cars and on the clothes. They had the African clothes, the jung off rice. It was everything was in that joint. Fried chicken. I mean, it was everything. And when you watch, it was going from different videos from song to song to song. And it was like one of the first times in a long time, probably since the 90s, where I seen musicians use music to bridge the gap between the African, the Caribbean, and the African American. I didn't even watch the whole thing because a company came over. I mean, I watched about a good half hour of it. That shit is amazing, man. Like, especially in today's time. And I hope that something like that, younger people can see and they begin to emulate that. I don't know if you guys got a chance to actually see the video.
No, I've only seen the advert for it. I haven't watched it. I just saw that.
God. And they was talking about Ogun in there. They was talking about celestial beings, the stars. And they was using the Lion King. They was using the Lion King reference with human people, not animals. It was. They had a little boy like going through different phases of different things, like different parts of the story. If y'all get a chance to watch it, you got to watch it. Like, it's real good.
You sold it to me now, brother. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you know me. I'm critical of everything. So when I first watched it, I was being critical, but then I was like, no. I start seeing like the African girl come on there. She starts singing with the African clothes on. Then Beyonce come right behind her with the Creole look, and then they brought the Jamaican brother in, and he was killing it. It was just like they was going into different songs and different parts of the video with just different black people from all over the world. And the whole thing was African gods, like understanding African culture, not no Muslim Christian stuff. It was African stuff.
African, nice.
I mean, it was decent. I got to see it, and the symbolism in there is crazy. So
looking forward to it.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out based on what you guys say. Listen, the thing is, this is what we gotta remember with these things, yeah. Because again, I don't want us to just get thrown off by who is doing what and whatever. For those who have a mind state and understand what they're looking at, definitely there'll be angles. I already know from what I've seen that will resonate and you'll be able to draw strength from. My thing is simply, and my warning to everybody is to watch it with a filter on still, because you need to understand who's making it, who's putting it out. So again, it's hip to the game to be showing black shit right now. And there's going to be a whole bag of black stuff that's going to come out. And again, that's not a bad thing. But I always say this, there's a lot of white shit that we don't need black versions of. Yeah, that's just a fact. There's a lot of white things and activities, programs, different genres, whatever, that we don't necessarily need to recreate. I know there's this big thing about, yeah, well, let's make a black version and let's have a black Jesus and let's have, you know what I'm saying? Which again, in certain circumstances is cool. But I would always tell people, please have a filter on that shit. And understand who's putting it out there, because these people have never put out nothing without a plan in place to somehow corrupt what is our story and is our history and our knowledge and our spirituality.
I agree with that. But see, this is the issue. The thing we always talk about when we deal with things from metaphysics stuff. Man, the ancestors will use anything to get the information out. It's our job to recognize and take control of it. The problem is we keep allowing people to control our narrative instead of us getting control of our narrative. It's up to us. The white man ain't God. Like, how long are we going to continue to allow him to control the narrative? He's not God. But we don't say it in our mouth, but in our words, our actions, we act like he is. And we put him in the position of God. So the thing is, if Beyonce and them is making a video that we can clearly see them showing our ancestry, we're supposed to get behind that and take control of it. Because the thing is, sometimes it's not them. They're being used to bring forth the information. They're the vessels, because if George do it, nobody going to watch. But if Beyonce do it, everybody will watch. So we got to take advantage of that now and stop looking at the white man as if he's some celestial being God that we can't overtake. Like at some point, all the stuff we talk about, Ogun, Yama, we got to show that we really believe that it worked. Other than that, we don't believe it. The white man is our God. We might as well just stop talking about it.
Facts. I hear you on that one. But again, see, but this is the kicker about black spirituality and African spirituality. Even though it's a cultural practice and it's something that's done as a collective, it starts with you. So if you don't have your personal connection to it, that's what I'm saying. This is where you ain't gonna get it. It's not a church thing, despite what people tell you. It's not a religion. It's an everyday practicing and a mind state and a code of ethics and behaviors that you perpetrate every day. So let me tell people, if you don't understand that, then you are gonna keep missing the mark, or you're gonna be a follower, or again, you're gonna be into the conscious thing through the Beyonce video, and then she's gonna do some next fucked up shit down the line, and suddenly you're gonna start saying, "Oh, that conscious thing it's all satanic now." That I'll give you a slap for, because again, separate what George is talking about, the information, from the foolishness of the people who may be perpetrating it, or whether in the moment it's positive, but as I said, as a person, they're already on their pathway. So don't be surprised if in amongst her releasing this, inspiring video, next week she could be doing some fucked up shit. That is the complete opposite. wearing the horns. Now it's Maleficent. Now it's bullshit and all of this kind of behavior. So, but again, if that happens, please understand, same way I'm saying put a filter on when you're watching it, put a filter on to understand the difference between who these people are and the information, whether it's through nature that's just pushing them without them even knowing subconsciously, whether they're making the conscious thought to push the thing out in a good way. But either which way, understand that this African spirituality thing and you having a code of ethics starts with you. And if you don't have a personal connection to it, you will not be able to maintain. Trust me, you will not.
Yeah, let me add this part because most people around the world, most melanated people around the world don't have a connection to African spirituality. So I'm gonna say this to you guys: whether you in the Caribbean, whether you in America, shit, a lot of Africans today don't even have a connection to African spirituality. They want to be Muslim, Christian, and everything else. They can't wait to get to France. So what I'm saying is, when you see this type of information come out to the forefront, we got to understand that the ancestors is working against these other entities. So when you do see it, it's our job to take control of it and take control of the narrative. We got to get out in front of it. What I saw today, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be real, because I'm like you, I criticize everything and I'm critical of everything. But what I saw today, I sat down and actually was watching it like, damn, they got everything in here. I mean, they even had like the leopard print. Like I said, like you look at the clothes, the music, the sound, everything. It was about a half hour of different songs, and I cut it off in between because some people came over. But I'm like, man, people watching this, like, this is actually some shit like you never really saw before or a long time in music. And you're seeing a bridge, you know, what's they call bridging the gap. And now my thing is, if the ancestors is throwing us this alley-oop sometimes because vessels is used, where are we at in this? We got to get out in front of it. We got to get out and now sometimes, man, because the enemy is always working. The enemy is going to try to commandeer it anyway to use it in his favor. We got to be against that. We got to fight against it. We got to fight against it because, like I said, we can always talk about what he's going to do. But my question in 2020, going to the end of 2020, what are we going to do? We already know what the enemy going to do. We got a black belt and knowing what the white man's going to do. But the question is, I don't know what the fuck my fellow melanated brothers and sisters is going to do. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. We know what the white man's going to do, but from Guinea to America, what is the melanated man and sister woman going to do about it? That's the problem. We don't know. We don't know. And then once we get to a point when something like that come out and we pushing African spirituality, and I know from Nigeria to America, what's about to happen from our people, that's when we know we arrive. The problem ain't the white man because he's doing his job. The problem is us. The problem is us. And for me, in my opinion, that's why I think the ancestors put that is the reason for putting this stuff out there is trying to wake us up.
Most definitely. Most definitely is. Remember, look, it's got to return. We deal with cycles of time, innit?
Yes.
So right now, everything's on a cycle. So therefore, again, these things are happening and pushing towards going back to the full blackness. This is what we gotta understand. Regardless of whatever you think is happening, this is what you need to take to bed with you at night. This is the only thing that's gonna make you feel better, that you understand on a deeper esoteric level that nature is a mechanism that is designed to continue to run, and it's designed to continue to run on the black fuel of you.
Rich, I'm telling you, that video made me smile, man. I was actually looking at that joint like, damn. And then Jay-Z came in and rapped. Then they had this African boy, he came in and rapped. I don't even know who he is, but then they were speaking some African language, and I was like, man, where Terry at, man, so he could tell me what they're saying and shit. Because I ain't know what language they would be. No, it was, I'm telling you, like it had, I was into it. Like, damn, this is decent.
Briggsy, where you at? Unmute your mic. Were you there? Y'all come on with silent mic and all them wait there. Come promote the thing. Black Family First. Black History Weekend, the 15th and 16th.
What you say something?
You're breaking up, George.
Say
that again.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, it's George. Now, George, you're breaking up. Got to get into a next signal, a next place for your signal. Yeah, I'm just reading some of these comments. We need a code. Yes, Frank, we do need a code. Trust me, the code is black first. Most definitely, it should be, but it's got to get deeper than that. As I said, we have to fix them families. We have to fix our first experiences. So again, we're on a better level to understand how to deal with people out on road. Because again, if your family hasn't treated you with no love, if your original experiences of being dodgy and off key and all sorts from the people who bore you into this world, then you're gonna have a hard time connecting and trusting and doing whatever it is, business, relationships, whatever. Yeah, in life is gonna be 10 times more harder without it. You understand?
Hey, Richie, could y'all hear me? I was walking to the corner. I think my phone went out.
Yeah, now you're clear. Now you're clear.
What I was trying to say was I want everybody to get a chance to watch it, and then we come back and do a stream on it. Because me being African American, a lot of the language they were saying and a lot of the singers they came on, they were speaking in African. So I didn't know what they were saying, but I seen the clothes. And some like a lot of the brothers and sisters over in London, they'll probably catch it and they'll see the symbolism more than me. But I know enough that when I seen it, I was like, yo, this shit dope. But I was like, I wish Terry and my man Alan was here because they could tell me what they're saying.
Nothing on me.
No, because some of the languages they were saying, you might understand. Because I know a lot of Africans be knowing 4 and 5 different languages.
Yeah.
So when you hear it, like when you see the symbolism and you hear it, some of you guys you know how you hear something, you don't know what they're saying, but you know it's dope.
Yeah.
Like and I'm looking at it, and she's singing, Beyonce singing in American, but she's singing next to her daughter singing in African. And I'm like, yo, this is dope as well.
Which one was you talking about?
This is the new Beyonce. I don't even know.
Beyonce video. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
King.
Yeah, that shit.
You seen it, Terry?
Family, huh? I've seen some of it. I haven't seen all of it.
Terry, wasn't that John decent?
Huh?
Wasn't that John decent? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
he's gathering up his thoughts to give us a response. What do you think you've seen?
Terry, did you see like the African languages and the clothes and the leopard skins and all the stuff that they was wearing in there?
Yeah, I saw all of that.
Yeah, what do you think about it? I thought it was amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
But my only issue is what is it? What's the intentions out of it?
Yeah, well, like I told Richie, we think this way because we caught up in what the white man has done. I'm looking at it from this aspect. Why is it out? What about the power of the ancestors? Who's to say that the ancestors ain't using these vessels to bring the information back out to the dead people that don't got the information? The white man controls certain things, but he's not God. So what I'm saying is when we talk about venerating the ancestors and something like this comes out through certain people, who's to say that that's not the work of the ancestors? We can't keep putting the white man in the position of God, like he control everything.
Listen, he really doesn't. And as I said already, I am cool with information having to come forth and for us to know ourselves as we move through the cycles in various ways. Like white man does things all the time that he thinks he's being clever in the short term,
and it backfires on him.
That's it. In the long term, it always comes back round. Like I'm definitely with that. But again, I still got to make sure that again people don't forget who's who in it. That's why I say the same thing in the conscious community when people have their favorite teachers.
Right? No, I agree, but that's why I'm telling. But what I'm saying to people is sometimes like you gotta understand. It depends the messenger. If me and Terry do a song, don't nobody give a shit about me and Terry. So in order for the ancestors to get through the information through to the spiritually dead people, you got to use the people that people know. And it's our job to get out in front of that to push the message forward. So sometimes the enemy, like you said, may think he's doing something to further bring the people back, but that's where we come in. But we caught in this position where we think that we can't overtake what the white man is doing. I mean, you know, and I disagree. I disagree. I love it. I love the fact that with all this fucked up music
You're
that's out
breaking
here,
up again, George.
I love the fact with all this bad
Now,
music that's out. Yeah, can y'all hear me now?
I can hear him okay.
Yeah.
I can hear him fine.
I said I love the fact with all this bad music that's out here, the fact that you would get something like that. So I think things on a metaphysical basis. Like, why is that even out here at a time like this when you got all this stuff going on? Why does something like that even comes to that type of energy even comes out? It's a reason why it comes out. That's so goon speaking. Come on, but we got to be able to see the bigger picture. Because to me, what I'm learning to believe that a lot of people don't believe in the spirituality that they talk about. The white man is their God because they can't see past the power of the white man. We can't always look at the messenger. We got to look at the message. Because the messengers, for the most part, are corrupted. All of this shit is corrupted. But how do you change it? You got to extract the message from it and then begin to work that energy.
I completely understand where you're coming from, brother. Absolutely understand where you're coming from there. I think Rich has gone out, dropped out. But yeah, I completely get you. And when you were talking, I was thinking about the age of Aquarius being roundabout now, and it's about unveiling, it's about showing what the truth is.
Yes.
You know, and she might be cultivating energies and using ancient practices, which is what displayed in what you saw. But yeah, absolutely.
And you got to look at and we got to look at why is that being out? Why is it being out now? Why is it permeating now? Why does dead souls got the ability to look at something like that? See what I'm saying? So that's the way I see it. I think I'm constantly thinking outside of the box. I know what the white man is doing, but now I'm thinking like, wait a minute, why is this on American TV for my people to see all of a sudden now? Why? I said, well, damn, well, maybe Yama speaking. Could that be true? I mean, like,
most definitely.
Is that Oshun? I mean, you know, so we got to start giving our gods their props.
Come on.
No, I feel you on that one. Listen, I don't mind taking upliftment from whatever place. And as I said, for those that know from the little clips I have seen, I know there's going to be people that will get it and feel like, yes, I like to see that. But as I said, I will always tell people, please don't assume that this conscious thing is something that you just jump into on a group thing, because it not work like that. You understand? And it's the same thing for those people who have their favorite teachers, their Phil Valentines, their Carvers, their whoever, Professor James Smalls. You have to keep in your head at all times, this is about your self-development and you connecting with your ancestors personally. This isn't the Church of England. Oh, well, yeah, and it's all soulless business. So I'm saying that to say that whatever information you do glean from these things, from whoever, wherever you get your inspirations from, please understand that tomorrow, if those same people decide to go back to doing their stupidness, like a Beyonce, who, as Frank's saying, yeah, Sharif said, agent, I'm with you guys, yeah, but understand that's why, again, don't make the information be lost based on those people. The same way, don't make yourself suddenly become hardened now to certain concepts because you see certain people trying to use it. Because remember, that's another thing you got to understand. Everything out here, whether you're perceiving it as a negative or positive, comes from black people. You understand? This is what you got to know. It comes from black people. So just having that battened down in your head as 100% fact will help you to always understand what you're looking at and to try to decipher it and trace it back to the true source of where whoever it is drawing it from.
Hey, Rich, let me address the Franks in them though. See, because let's shut that door, baby. Shut the door. Let me address the Franks in them though, because this is the problem. See, and this is what I don't like about melanated people. Because this is the thing. We could talk about Beyonce. We could talk about all of that, right? But I did a stream Saturday. Okay, that's my grandbaby. Yeah, I did a stream where I talked about talented, educated blacks, and then you had the Black Power movement all around the world, right? In the 60s, that talking about toppling the system and rebuilding a system of justice for black people. So the thing is, you can call Beyonce and them agents, but if you go to work for this system, if you partake in the system of capitalism, then you ain't no fucking different. This is the whole thing. Like, we got to stop this hypocrisy, man. Either we fight.
Hold up, George. There's levels and degrees.
No, but hold
I
on. No, you know what I know, but let me lay out what I'm saying. Hold on.
No. We're gonna have a bang on each other now, George. Because wait. Yeah, there's levels and degrees that we have to clarify, because again, there's the level in which you're talking about where just by going to your job and doing certain things, you're participating and keeping the very system going. I get that. But then there's people that have taken big money and taken the real mission to mislead, misdirect.
Okay. But let me qualify why I say it. I'm with you. Let me qualify. You know, we had these conversations, but this is the whole thing. You listen, as black people, we all suffer from crackatosis to some degree. We're all coming up out of like these people aren't just some type of clones that was made. No, they're coming up out of the same bullshit we come from. Some people got talents where they use for their talent. Some people desires are controlled where they're kill, steal, and rob to get certain things. All of us are fucked up under this fucking system, man. So what I'm saying, because I understand this shit, whether it's George making, Beyonce, or fucking Richie, we all come up under this white man system, period. And we all, yes, baby. Oh, I'm sorry, my grandbaby just told me stop cussing. Yeah, we all come up under the system. So what I'm saying is, just to narrow it down, in this climate that we see today, when you see somebody putting out something where you hearing the ancestors venerate certain things that, for us that's woke, the majority of folk don't even know what none of this stuff is. But all of a sudden it's going out to the world for the world to see. That ain't the white man. That's not the white man. And we got to be able to see past that. And the reason why we can't see past that, because we always pointing the finger at who's the biggest coon. And we got to stop doing that, because we're never going to get out of our situation.
George,
we gotta, yeah.
But let's look at it in a certain way. Let's look at it in another view of there's certain genres that are starting to become a platform.
Yes.
And they're gonna try and find ways within the record business to get into that platform, because that platform might be much more difficult for them to go in because it's not from their grassroots. So they will utilize something that they would open their doors to able to create in something. Is there a possibility of that?
Magic, man. But let me ask you, Terry. In 2020, what system hasn't a white man infiltrated? He's infiltrated everything. This is the thing. This is why what I'm saying is this is why some of our people are stuck on stupid. And I gotta say it that way. And why a lot of our people ain't gonna make it, and they're gonna keep a lot of our people behind. Because a lot of us preach this African spirituality, we preach all of this stuff, but we don't believe it. We don't believe in the power.
But like you asked me a question, what were they saying? If I said that they were talking a lot of crap,
yes,
then what would you say then?
I would say I disagree. I would say I respectfully disagree from that. From what
on the actual words itself.
Well, from the part that I heard that I understood, and from the customs and the traditions and the dress, the foods, I know that we got a chance to see something on TV that represented African, Caribbean, and African American culture that you don't see. You don't see in our music. That's being downloaded into the mindset of our people. That's not what you usually see is girls twerking and showing their pussy.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that.
Exactly. No, I'm just
looking.
Yeah,
Family.
Yeah, I was just playing devil's advocate.
No,
but I'm just looking as I said to you, there's reason why I'm just saying that is that there's many facets to the situation. There's some people that take it certain ways, and there's some people that it's gonna enlighten them. It's just like like when he did the Black Panther came out. Some people got enlightened for it, and it inspired them. Some people had to bring some negativities to it. It just came with everyone had their own little genre.
But you know what that means, Terry? You know what that means, Terry? When that kind of stuff comes to light, right? Those of us that's been in our little vacuum teaching for years, this type of information is not for the not just for the blinded. It's to make us relevant. See, you got to understand something. See, this is how I know that a lot of people is not applying the stuff that we talk about. Because just think of this, Terry. All the stuff that we've been talking about, we get rejected by our own people just for wanting to teach them because they don't understand what we talk about. So now when you see certain things start coming into the atmosphere, some people be like, damn, that's the stuff that Terry and Richie and them was teaching 2 years ago. I wasn't fucking with it. Now they fucking with it. So it validates what we're talking about. That's when we got to come and keep reteaching this stuff. Because this is the thing. A lot of us can stand on a soapbox and won't nobody listen until it goes global through certain vessels. We got to take that information as a reach. So what I'm saying is this. I know that the enemy is always working, but I also believe that the ancestors are working through the same vacuum that the enemy is working through. We got to be able to see it.
I'm with you. Listen, and
yeah. Hey, sorry. What's the talk about? I just come in. Sorry.
We're just talking about this Beyonce film, Black is King, and what we should take from the information. And obviously we all know that they're agents and whatever, but understanding that there's information, real information that's coming out of the source. So it's separating it from the person. That's what we've been talking about, and obviously understanding that.
I see. Yeah, well, with in regards to that video, I've seen snippets of it and that. But symbolically, yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting to see. The things in that. But Beyonce, she's working for her paymasters, so she's mixing truth with European magic at the same time. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, so they know we're going into an age where the melanated people are gonna rise up naturally. Yeah, so they're looking for energy. They're looking for energy to boost their thing. You know what I'm saying to you? So they're mixing up a lot of symbols, African ancient symbols, with their thing, because Beyonce's, her headgear, what she was wearing on with the goat head. Yeah,
I seen that.
It symbolizes the Baphomet. That's the Baphomet, but that's strictly Mason. That's the Masonic thing, but it's incorporated with the Hathor, the ancient Egyptian goddess. So it's a mix and match kind of thing. So if you've got to know who you are to understand the symbolism.
He just made my point. Yeah, he just made my point, and that's exactly what I'm saying. That information is for us. That validates the stuff that we've been teaching to reteach our people.
Yeah. So I think it's more for the initiated person, for the person that's in tune with themselves. If the ordinary person is going to look at that, I mean, they probably might say, "Oh, that's satanic," straight away. Being a melanated person, the one that don't know themselves, you know what I'm saying to you. But if you do know yourself, you can actually, chew them in and spit out the bones, so to say. You know what I'm saying to you. So yeah, I mean, it's all right in certain aspects, but all of it boils down to the Masons looking for energy from all the melanated countries, all the melanated people that are into music and all that, because I saw one artist from Ghana, Shatawale, doing a little cameo with Beyonce. So you can see them trying to tap into the whole Afrobeat thing, because right now they don't own that shit. So they want to get into that, and control it, but it ain't gonna happen.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Let me as an African American. Where you from, brother? The brother I'm speaking to.
I'm from the UK, bro.
Are you I'm saying you African though?
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. So that's Victor. Oh, okay. So Victor, let me ask you. So what I'm saying, when I watched that, right, I know what the white man was doing. But when I seen the brother, her doing a cameo with the African brother, and then with the African sister, and they were singing going back and forth, as an African American, I seen that and chills went through my body because I felt the ancestors. I said, damn, these motherfuckers they always trying to commandeer something, but I get a chance to see something that you don't never see. You see African American, African, and Caribbean Africans all together in the music move, and they're showing all the customs and cultures that you don't see that shit on TV. You don't see none of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now
I know. That's good.
right. So all I'm saying is this: I know what the white man is doing, but how come that kid in the age we're in now with this information age and the way things are moving so fast, how come that can't be the ancestors making that happen? That why it always got to be the white man?
No. Yeah. Well, it's not the ancestors in as such, but they know, like they know how to mess about with people's emotions. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So how you're feeling, yeah, they set that in emotion already. Yeah, they knew you're gonna feel that way. Yeah. So it's all a trick. Yeah, it's a trick. So you can just
let me ask you then. So what I'm saying is the white man is God then, because there's no possible way we can do it.
No. The white man is not God. The white man is a deceiver.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you got to know. Yeah,
what I'm saying is
you got to know.
Deceiver. When does the ancestors ever intercede? So it can never.
Oh dang.
George dropped off.
He dropped off.
You see what the point he was going to say is, if the ancestors are as powerful as they're saying, at some point they're going to work through whatever is there. See, this goes back to our conversation earlier when we was talking about the Matrix, yeah. And again, understanding that even though Neo's the one, there's points where he has to go to people who are clearly not for him to get information or to get access to certain things. So in the most basic way, that's the only way I can kind of put it to where people can maybe get what we're trying to say. But again, to Frank, I think, who said it, like, no, it's not about needing Beyonce to validate what we're doing or what some of us have been talking about or know to be true from long time. We're just observing the fact that obviously through works, through nature, it's happened that we're at a point where somehow we've been given these imagery and they're being put on mainstream TV. Now, as I said, as I keep saying, you got to put a filter on that. You got to know what you're looking at. As Victor said as well, you have to know yourself. You know what you're perceiving. But that's what we're talking about. You understand?
Okay.
That's the difference. I'm not trying to put Beyonce on no pedestal or whatever. As we said, we got to separate the information from the person. Because tomorrow it could be, listen, tomorrow it could be your favorite teacher from the black community doing whatever. And then next week we're doing a Batty Boy video. What then? Are you not into the conscious thing then?
Yeah, let me ask you
it will work the same process where you will have to separate the person from what you know. Go Chucho.
Yeah, but all I was just going to say, sometimes we even in the forms of the visuals, we have to understand who are the people that are actually doing the visual, because the person that is making the visual is the one that's doing the studying of how that video is going to come out.
And who's the director?
Who's doing the research behind it? The videographer. Where are they getting the information from? Because Beyonce herself is just a pawn within that same video. She might say she wants certain things in there, but the actual creative of that video, as I said, is where you got to look at. Like, as I'll give an example of Alexandra McQueen. Alexandra McQueen was a batty boy at number one, but he was a fashion designer. But at the same time, he was studying the IFA system, which he now gravitated to the one that we call Eshu. And if you look at all his designs and his mannequins, they were designed in the form of the mannequin of Eshu. But the thing is that Eshu is not nothing of bad, but he relatively thought it was because he was a trickster. But the funniest thing is, there is no such word as evil or devil within the Yoruba language itself. So it's the same format as in looking at that diagram and looking at who is the one that has done the studying for this video. So depending on where that person's coming from and what that person's agenda is where it comes close.
I agree, Terry, but let me speak to that real quick, Terry. Now, this is the thing, right? Because everything you're saying, when I'm speaking from what I'm saying, like, you know, we all talk off the air, so I understand everything that's being said. This is the thing, like what I always talk to Richie on the phone about when we talk about the metaphysics aspect of things. The white man controls the banks. I mean, look at what happened in Zimbabwe right now. The president is giving back $3.something billion worth of land back to whites. So they control the resources. They got fake ass puppet leaders in Africa. They control America. They got fake ass puppet leaders here in America. They control everything. They control Hollywood. We got all of that. So they control us. They contract to control us. So we know we got sellout agents and coons. They even control us when we go to work for them and we complain about racism. I got all of that. This is what I'm saying. Because we know all of that and what we've been through, and we talk about venerating the ancestors and the ancestors protects us. Even when we bring out a video, who am I to say in this climate, in this time, that the ancestors ain't speaking even through film to wake us up? Because the only way we're going to get woke up is for the ancestors to speak through this shit that they control.
Yeah.
There is no other way.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I was saying, George. George is going again.
Yeah, I'm breaking up.
George, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you, Terry.
Okay, yeah. So what I always notice, what the Europeans like to do, if you think about every epidemic
there's an echo coming through.
Yeah, that an epidemic that always comes through. You know the European always like to give a dog a bone.
Yes, I agree with that. Only thing I'm saying, Terry, I agree. What I'm saying, Terry, though, because he's in control of everything right now, he's always going to be in the front. What I'm saying, though, in order for us to get out of this, and while we in the middle of the fire, we're going to have to create something in the fire to get out of the fire.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say to you, is that when they're throwing that bone, they're not having, I'm not saying that they have full control. They throw a bone to try and give us something to gravitate to. But then sometimes the ancestors or you know, I mean, our history will now prevail itself in forms of our ancestors. Because if you go into the past and you start to write about history, the ancestors will speak.
No, I agree with that. And sometimes I believe sometimes the ancestors take control of them to put the information out despite what they want. And we gotta
But you know what? You know, yeah, Joe, I'm feeling you still. Yeah, that's actually 100% correct what you're saying. But you know what? With all that symbolism, yeah, to me personally, yeah, I think melanated people need to stop acquiescing. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, to all the stuff that's going on. Like, we have to make a stand. Like, that's how we get to show these people that we know ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So we can't acquiesce. You know, we can't comply. You know what I'm saying, to everything that they're telling us. You know, we've got to stand up. For instance, something simple as wearing a mask. Yeah, in my opinion, yeah. You can just say, no, I'm black, I'm not wearing it. Simple. Yeah. And if everyone does that, it becomes a narrative. Then like they were like, what do you mean? So like, yeah, we're not wearing it. So we have to take the stand. You know what I mean? It's something simple as us wearing a mask. You know what I mean? So I think it can start from that.
Let me ask you, Victor, and what's your opinion on this then, Victor? What about we know the white man controls video, we know he okay it, but I believe in the work of the ancestors. I've gone to my grave believing that. I believe that the ancestors have the ability to do supernatural things. So this is my thing. What about just the vivid image of seeing that African American and Caribbean Africans all together, and that dress, that food, that everything? What about that image that you see? That type of energy that can make us want to stand on that now. When you say we got to take a stand, when that stuff come out to the area, go ahead, Vic.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that unity thing. Yeah, because it's been a long time since you see, you know.
I think he went out.
It's someone's mic.
I just feel like the ancestors are summoning certain energy in us for us to see it now. But it's up to us to now stand. Whether you in Africa, the Caribbean, the Americans, we got to look at that and say, damn, that's us. Let's stand in this.
I'm with you with that, brother. I'm with you with that, I must admit.
Because right now we all asking for unity, innit? So they're riding off that back of that. You know what I'm saying to you? They're riding off. They know that, you know, the narrative right now in the melanated world is to unite. Yeah. So whoever's behind that video of Beyonce's video knows about that. So, you know, it collectively, you know, and cunningly got everybody all together from all, you know, all places where there's melanated people, you know, all the big artists in that, you know, just to, you know, unite them in that video. That's very symbolic in a sense. But like I'm saying to you, yeah, the whole purpose of that is for them to get our energy behind their thing. Do you know what I'm saying? To using our symbolism as well. So, you know, so if you don't know yourself, you get gravitated towards it and giving your energy to them. You know what I mean? Because right now, yeah, we take it. Yeah, we can take it. We understand what Beyonce is doing. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But we shouldn't get gassed about it. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, we shouldn't get gassed. We should just
100%.
know what's actually happening. Because the times that we're in now, yeah, we know they're about to fall. Yeah, so they're trying to grab hold of everything else that they can to hold on to power. Yeah, but you know, it ain't gonna show. So,
and I'm with you, Victor.
Yeah. I think the simplest thing we can do as millionaire people, because you know, those old that mask thing, yeah, it's a ritual. Yeah, because right now they're using black magic on us. Yeah, it's all Masonic rituals they're doing. You know what I'm saying to you? So if we understand all that,
Victor, you got to be careful of what you say when you say Masonic, because because when you talk about masonry, you have to understand what masonry you're talking about, because there's different types. In the fact that it's as close to you than you think it is, and there's
but
that is certain people that
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but what I'm talking about the Mason, the white Mason, not the original Masons. You know what I'm saying to you? Because we don't really know the science of the original Masons. All we see is all these lodges, you know, all these fraternities, but it's all European based.
But you see, there is when you talk about these things, right? That you got the people of the elite doing their thing, because remember, the first European set got wiped out. Do you know that?
The first European what, sorry?
The first European masonries got wiped out by the
French.
Really? By the French.
No, it didn't. It's still, it went underground. It's still there.
It got wiped out. They replaced it with the Spanish ones.
No. The Templars are still there, bro.
No, they got wiped out.
The Templars. No, the Templars are still there, bro.
And I'm telling you, they got wiped out.
Okay, so who were the first Masons?
In the time of the French king hanging every single one of them.
They went underground, bro.
Yeah, no. The original ones that were in legion to certain other people, those European ones got wiped out. And
but I'm telling you, it's not. Look, the first lot were the Templars, yeah, the Knight Templars.
I'm not gonna go
further. The first Masons.
As I said, I'm not gonna go further in this. I'm not gonna go further in this, but I can talk to you. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I understand. There was a lot of fraternities back in them days, but the major ones are still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Manly P Hall and all them people, they're still around.
Because if you look at the methods, you will see the relationships.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that, you know, although we don't know the science behind
that's why I won't categorize I won't categorize them all as one people.
Hey, I thought the original Masons was Black Africans originally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's what they are. But what I'm saying is we don't have that sort of fraternity right now. The Black Masons don't exist.
Yeah, they do.
Most Black Masons are underneath. Yeah, no. All the
no. I'm telling you now, no.
Oh, so what? Do you know any Black Masons that are around, like their own thing, that doing their own thing, that with their own identity?
I don't know no Masons that's in power of their own nations and resources, despite the white man.
Except for cold and silence.
All right. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna say this because I gotta jump off. I gotta go 10. But all I want to say is, I understand what everybody's saying as far as like, you know, them controlling Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. Only thing I'm saying is, man, for years, man, you know, we talked about ancestry worship, understanding nature,
Oh
understanding the
man,
power
you
of
so passionate there, bro.
yeah, understanding the power of voodoo. We understand nature. We understand all of that. So for me, when I see certain things, I believe that the ancestors have the ability to work through these things to get the message to us, but it's up to us to take the message and push it forward.
Mm-hmm.
They reveal themselves to us. So when I seen the video with them having on like I said, the African paint, the spears, the traditional tribe, all of that kind of stuff, I'm like, wait a minute, you don't see none of this stuff on TV. And I know the white man wants to commandeer and do certain things, but just wait a minute, because this ain't normal what we used to seeing. How come this can't be the ancestors trying to tell George, wake your ass up? I mean, it's not impossible. So we got to start giving our guys, our ancestors, their props too over this white man.
Yeah, it's, as I said, it's even when you look closely to the Black Panther, if you look at it and go deep into it, you will see the messages that were there. But some people might look over it and not realize that point. There were certain points in it that you didn't recognize.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes the great mother is trying to get our attention, man, but it's up to us to push it forward. And sometimes she might just whisper, right? The white man might be howling and screaming, but she might whisper to you, I'm right here. Just look, here I go. But we take it for entertainment value instead of taking it and saying, wait, that's ours. Let's walk in this. Let's embody it. It's ours. Take it back.
Mm-hmm.
But we too busy worried about a job and our dollar. Capitalism. That's what we too busy worried about. But that shit wouldn't be on the screen for no reason, man. The white man ain't that powerful, man.
Nope. As I said,
we know that though, man.
No, George, as I said before, it's like the Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
When they got to the curtain, what did they see?
Old man pulling strings. That's right.
Yeah, well, you know what? This paradigm is theirs. You know, we've got to give it to them. You know, they've done what they had to do. You know, what I'm saying to you, by the time's coming to an end. Yo, hello.
Yeah, right. The funniest thing
what's
is,
happening?
it might not even be a white man.
But you know who was dope, Terry and Victor? You know who was dope? A lot of times we come on these platforms and we talk about, like, you know, you got the diaspora banging on each other, Africans banging. I'm gonna tell you what got me though. I'm just be real with you. And fuck the white man for a minute. When I seen Beyonce singing, and I seen an African girl come on and sing in her language, then I seen an African brother, then Jay-Z, then the Jamaican brother come on and rap. All of those different groups of diaspora Africans moving together in the melody, man, that shit was dope as hell. I never seen nothing like that. And while we spent time thinking we different, arguing, when they merged all that shit together, man, that shit was like heaven. So to me, when I look at the way we fight amongst each other, and then I seen that's the ancestors, man. That ain't Beyonce. That's somebody trying to get our attention.
Yeah, well,
because we spent so much
you
time
took a different message.
Yes,
yeah, I know. That's real. Yeah, that's real. You took that, and that's gonna work for you. So what you need to do now, you need to link up with a lot of Africans, haven't it, on the continent?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But we never seen we never seen the different cultures of black people. That's the same people merged together just in that one thing where they all together. And I'm like, damn, that shit dope as hell.
Yes.
But you know, so that's all I was saying. That's my take from it. Because tomorrow we'll be arguing, fuck ADOS, fuck CARICOM, fuck Africa, fuck this. And then you go see that, and you see the African sister with the African sister with the Jamaican brother. And they all moving together in the same thing. And I'm like, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's unification. So even though the white man own it, to me, that's the ancestors saying this is what y'all supposed to be doing.
Yeah, black is kin. Is that what it's called? Black is kin, yeah?
Yeah,
George, you see that you know what the funniest thing is, George, and this is what I've been advocating for a long time, is that if we keep on staying in our postcode areas, we ain't gonna see shit. When we start to travel and maneuver around, you will find there is a total difference in forms of unification. You ain't gonna see unification in the postcode. When you start to travel is when you're going to see the unification.
No, I got you. And let me say, hey, Frank, in the chat, Disney ain't got me, dummy. Disney got you. The white man is your guy. He's gonna continue to be your fuck Disney and the white man and his shit. We see dummies like you don't even understand all the shit that we invented that moved the 21st century, despite getting hung, despite colonialism. We moved this shit. We don't even know our power because stupid niggas like you is stuck. Why would you even mention a Disney when you don't even understand what we've done? You don't even know who you are. That's how I know the ignorance of our people, and they don't see what I see. Because most of our people don't understand our contributions to the world. We really believe what the white man said we are. So now you can't see past his Disney. You don't even see your ancestors because you see his Disney. That's all you see. Because you don't even know who your ancestors are. And Frank, do you even know who your grandfather is? Probably not. That's why you stupid niggas talk the way you talk. And God, people like you need to stay away from our children. I gotta be honest though. I gotta be honest because too many people got platforms to talk that don't know what the fuck they talking about. We got a lot of people that don't even know who their grandfathers are, let alone the ancestors. So when she do speak, you don't even hear her. When he do speak, you don't even hear him. You too busy hearing the white man. Fuck Disney. There is no Disney. We created these cameras. We created the first microphone. We created all of this shit. We don't even know our power. That's our problem. That's why I got the unpopular stance for most people because I understand our contribution to the 20th century, the 21st century, and everything else. So when the ancestors speak, I hear it. I can see it. There is no TV without the black people.
True. That's true words, man. That's true words.
We talking about fuck Disney. There ain't no Disney without us, man. That came off of our backs. Everything they use from the satellites, everything, the GPS, the compass, that's us. We created it. Fool, and you talking about the white man? Fuck the white man. I don't know, man. Wow. Frank, but we got to get people that think like that away from our children because they keep that Freddy Krueger effect in their mind. We lost our ability to dream. Because when we dream, Freddy is there to kill us in the dream world, so we manifest nothing in the physical. Wow. That's why we're dead.
Yeah, it's that Matrix again, man.
We know
you gotta plug in and plug out, man.
Disney got you. Disney got you, nigga. Disney ain't got me. I know who control the banks. I know who control all this shit. But that's all material stuff, man. We dealing with things from a spiritual essence, man. And even with all the things he controls, we still create. We created fucking cortisone. Man, I don't understand some of you people, man. Like y'all be talking but don't know shit. You need to know the greatness of your people.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to come easy on some people though, man, because certain imagery and symbolism is a bit too hard for people to digest. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So slowly, they'll get it. Do you know what I mean? They'll get it, but because where you are, where you at, you get things like it comes to you instantly. Yeah.
So we know don't attack your brother. Don't attack your brother because he's saying something that you don't understand. Sometimes it's good to just listen with respect because you wouldn't do that to the white man, but you disrespect your brother in the chat room because we used to dissing each other. So if you diss me, I'm gonna take your motherfucking ass.
Yeah. I like that, but George, you need to speak to your boy about that. You know what you just said, yeah. Like they need to be humble enough and listen to their brother speaking, you know.
Yeah, we don't want to. we don't want to do that though. But that's our problem. See, if the white man don't validate it, then it's wrong. If everything I'm saying right now, if a white man came and said it and was giving jobs, niggas like Frank would be listening. He'd be right there on the front line listening. But because the black man said it, it can't be true. We got to get out of this fucking way of thinking, man.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. So who's this Frank? Is it Frank in the chat?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean no harm. I still love him, but no, man, stop doing that shit. Like, fuck this white man. He's not God. The fuck, man? Like, we black men got to start believing in each other. You want for your brother what you want for yourself. Like Dr. John Henry Clark said, the white man becomes irrelevant to you. He's only relevant because he controls your food, shelter, and clothing. So you love him more than you love your own fucking brother, and your brothers are relevant to you now because you put him first. So now because he controls Disney, if something come out, you can't even see the work of the ancestors. All you see is the white man.
Yeah. And you know what? You can't blame them for that. You know, like I said, a lot of people are plugged in. Do you know what I'm saying? To the matrix, like that lady was saying earlier. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the damage has already been done. You know what I mean? So it's just you're just seeing the results of what they started off thousands of years ago. You know, they what you're seeing is perfect slaves. You know, we are the perfect slaves. You know, the ones that are enslaved. You know, it's not what they wanted. They just you know did the work on them. You know, and generations after come. You know, we now are the perfect one. So that's why they're just there chilling, watching everything. You know, everyone just going like headless chickens. You know, just running around, confused and lost. You know, that's how they wanted it. You know, and this is the times that everything that they plan for has actually come to fruition. Yeah, so they're just sitting there. That's how they can just go to Africa and tell the Zimbabweans to pay reparations to all them. You know what I'm saying to you? So it makes that 1st of August thing look like a joke. You know, our struggle looks like a joke now because is it that we're asking for something from them? Yeah, and we got Africans paying billions. Yeah, to white farmers that they just like treated Africans like crap. You know what I'm saying to you? So something's got to give. You know what I'm saying to you? So you understand? So I understand where you're coming from, George, man. You know, these people still in power everywhere, in every facet, of human activity. You know, they control everything.
Hey, look, Vic, elaborate on this, and you and Terry can tell me if I'm wrong or not. I'm just giving my opinion. I don't know if I'm correct. Right? This is the thing. When you see Mugabe do what he did and take the land from him, and the African Union don't step up and back him, so now this president coming, he gives it all back to the white man. To me, that's the equivalent to what Frank is doing. We can't see past the white man. We can't see our own shit. Okay, Mugabe took it. All the countries get in there and back it up and take the shit back. Take everything back. What's the problem? Why are we giving shit back in 2020? Back to white people. What the fuck, man? That shit is disheartening.
Yeah. So you have to understand the level of conditioning of our people. You know what I'm saying to you? They can't see beyond their fingers.
Yeah, I'm backstage, you know.
But get out of there, y'all. That's dirty. Get out. Yeah. Which area?
Can you hear me? Hold on. Okay, cool. That's what I want to know. Yeah, go on. Finish your conversation now, people.
Peace, everyone. I just wanted to ask a question because the topic kind of came up a few different times in different ways about like we were talking earlier about being part of the matrix and plugging in and plugging out, and then you were talking about our ancestors and like a spiritual dealing with things from a spiritual perspective and also like from a natural perspective. My question has to do with like that balance of having a level of spiritual awareness and dealing with things from a spiritual perspective, and while in like the natural. So like, what does that balance look like? Because a lot of times in this community, people bring up, oh, you're working part of the system. You're participating in economics, so you're part of the system. You're supporting a system that's within our oppression. So it's like, okay, so is everyone supposed to sit around and meditate and go within to our higher selves and, not go to the grocery store or not, I don't know, not drive our cars or not buy gas?
It won't work.
Where's that balance at? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can answer you. Like, let's be honest here. We don't own anything. Yeah, as black people, I'm talking about the UK here. We don't own anything in terms of like food, our food, education, or nothing. We don't own nothing. So basically, what it is, we just got to work with what we've got. Yeah. But once you get that paper, you just have to do it in such a way that you just group yourself, like group economics. You know what I'm saying? You do like a co-op, a cooperative thing, where you get the money from the system, from your 9 to 5 or whatever, yeah, and you put it back into your community. That can be easily done. I mean, there's other groups here that have done it, and it's very successful. I mean, I was talking to another guy the other day about this. There's a model a cooperative model that is very successful around the world. It was done by a Spanish group of people called the Mondragons. Yeah, it's a cooperative, and their GDP alone, yeah, is more than like 6 African countries put together. Do you know what I'm saying to you? That's the output that they do, and it's only a group of people, and they've done it. Yeah, a cooperative. So if we can look at that model, yeah, as melanated people anywhere in the world, yeah, we can do that. We can go to our 9 to 5, and wherever we do, we can have to use our money and bank it in like black banks that can, you know, help to, you know, to build up the community, you know, and to help to build institutions. And it can easily be done, but it's just getting the right people, you know, because we have individuals that have loads of money, a lot of melanated people that have loads of money, but they don't know what they're doing with that. You know what I mean? So if it's just about, you know, getting the right mindset, you know what I'm saying to you, you know, and grouping those people together, you know, so they can build, you know, a cooperative, you know what I'm saying, and start this whole group economics thing. You know, it can start from there. Because, you know, because we've been here. I mean, like, for instance, you know, since the Windrush lot came over here, I mean, they had an opportunity, but it was all based around, I mean, I don't know. It was just like, I don't know what happened where they never really, I mean, I don't know. Someone can correct me. I don't know much about our history. But why is it that they never did a model like the Asians are doing it right now? You know, whereby, you know, you got a family of like 6 Asians that all stay in one house, yeah, all throughout. You know, like for instance, they all stay in one house and they all save. You know, then what they do, they buy another house for a member of the family. You know what I'm saying to you? You know, and that goes off, and like they keep doing that to everybody else have their own houses. You know what I'm saying to you? But they sacrifice themselves to stay in like a 2-bedroom house, and you got 8 people in there. Yeah. In the black community, we'll never do that. I mean, once you're 16, you know, you're looking to cut out the yard. You can't, you can't even stay, you know, and they've got this stigma where if you're like over 25 or 30 and someone asks you, where you living? You say, I'm living with my mum and dad. People start laughing at you. You know what I mean? But in the Asian community, it's normal for someone that's 30 to still be living with their mum and dad. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But in the black community, it's a joke. You know, they would be laughing at you, they're stigmatizing you and everything. You know, so it's the mindset, man, to change all that. Yeah, so like now I've got 3 children. Yeah, I will never encourage them to leave the house. Yeah, to go and fend for themselves. I want them to stay, you know, to contribute. You know what I'm saying? Then we can all save together. You know what I'm saying? And have enough money, you know, to at least get one property for one of the child. You know what I'm saying to you? Then just, you know, it starts from somewhere. I mean, so we have to start, you know, going back to basics. You know, we can even learn from the other groups that are doing it here, and just do it. You know, because we have the opportunity, but it's the fact that we have this type of lifestyle where, you know, I just don't know what it is with us. You know, this.
Yes, great,
I mean,
brother. I can chime in on what it is with us. All right.
Yeah.
In terms of the Windrush generation, I mean, this is constant. I'm about practical application. I'm never about a victim mentality. That's why my focus is not on what they are doing, or even we should be doing this. I don't really like conversations where we should be doing this. Everything that I'm doing, I am doing practically. You know, so in terms of the Windrush generation, I mean, it's practical again. I can speak factually because my parents did it. My parents did, they call it Padna Susu, where all of my uncles and aunts eventually got their own properties. So first, what happens with immigrants predominantly is the first generation have their act together and they establish themselves in a new community. And then unfortunately what happens is the second and third generations get assimilated into the culture. And in doing so, lose their culture. When you speak about the Indians have managed to preserve their culture. So you know, in terms of unity, there was unity. When my parents came over, they went straight to to family houses where they were ready to receive them. So that's been lost. But yeah, I'm not an advocate for speaking about what they are doing, you know, that kind of mentality. Really, it's about what am I doing?
Country, don't you think that these times that we're in with these restrictions and that, don't you think that's the best opportunity for us to get back to the family thing? You know, because you know right now they're trying to split up the family, innit? Like now they're bringing a new law that you can't even go to, your friend's house or your family member's house or whatnot. You know, that's gonna come in very soon. Yeah.
See, there we go again. They are trying to. They are trying to. Listen, I've been more submerged in my family over this quarantine than any other time in my life, I would say. So it's not, it's. I mean, how? Okay, let's go back to what the good brother George was talking about. He mentioned Freddy Krueger. Now, if you watch Nightmare on Elm Street, this is all tying in. How did Freddy Krueger die? that overwhelming, dark energy that were terrorizing people. People just started to ignore him, and then he faded away. With the Wizard of Oz, if we're taking analogies of movies, what happened? We just realized it was some tiny little man behind a box controlling everything, but in the front, it was some big monster that everyone was afraid of. So when you say they are doing this and they are doing that, as a people, we're used to being flexible and resilient. So it's just a matter of, just kind of adapting to the restrictions that are, and at the same time, keeping it moving.
Can I add on to what you say? Can I add right where you at with that energy? Because I agree with everything that you're saying. But I think what happens is a lot of our people, man, when I get into the history, we don't know our accomplishments because we only know our failures. And the system makes sure we know that. We don't know our accomplishments under the shit that we've been under. People don't even know that we created the diet. We was the ones that understood the diagnosis for liver cancer. We was the ones that did the first brain aneurysm surgery. People don't know what Black people has done, have invented, have created. So we don't know our greatness. So now what happens is we suffer what I call the Freddy Krueger effect. We've lost our ability to dream and see ourselves out of our current situation. Because the minute we go to dream, Freddy is there to kill you. So in the dream world, which is the spiritual realm, this is the physical realm that we're talking in now. You die because you manifest nothing here. We don't produce, manifest anything for us to benefit from because we don't dream it into reality. We don't manifest it.
Right.
We suffer from the Freddy Krueger effect. We got to kill Freddy Krueger in our mind, which is that white man. He has to die. Because and my proof of it is, I can tell you 50 things that we created that moved the 21st century while we was being hung.
Yeah, well, that goes back to what Conshi was saying about how we assimilated into the culture that was created for us. And back during that, it has damaged us mentally. So there's a lot of people walking around with a lot of trauma. So I think it got to go back to basic where we got to start healing, in a sense, because like to try and organize people that are still in trauma, you're going to get, it's just going to be a dysfunct. You know what I'm saying to you? It ain't going to work out, because we all have, like I said, we all have our personal issues to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So we have to self-reflect, and understand who we are as a people. You know what I'm saying? Once we do that, then it could have some sort of foundation, for us to work from. You know what I'm saying? But it all boils down to trying to heal, that damage that's been caused. Because I was reading this book the other day, apparently, where the enslaved Africans and all that, the treatment that they had some inbred thing going on, where they, a lot of inbreeding was going on. So there's a lot of, that's where the sickness, sickle cell comes from, apparently. That's what I was saying, because it's come from inbreeding, you know what I'm saying to you. So
yeah, but once again, this is not you personally, brother, but this is a victim mentality. They no, it's just like, as George was saying, thoughts create things. You can alchemize the whole trauma that your generational family have experienced just by focusing on developing yourself. So I don't buy the okie dokie about they are doing this and they're going to do that. No, I'm just about, adapting to the situation and empowering myself the best I can based on the current scenario,
Absolutely. But it would be nice if it was a collective thing, though. But it seems you're doing what you got to do.
Yeah, the brother's correct in what he said, but the problem is getting enough of our people. See, this is the thing. The problem is creating a culture around what you just said, to the point when you open up a business, Black people, the culture dictates that they come to you and patronize you. So we got to build a culture around what you just said. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm changing my message. I created a nonprofit here in Philadelphia called Urban Nerds Worldwide. It's a foundation. And what I do now is teach children a history that was never taught to them. My whole way of thinking changed when I start saying, wait a minute, We created the first home alarm system. They never told me that in school. We created
right.
So what happened was this started to be a metamorphosis or a shift in my mind. Because the first thing I asked was, how the fuck we create all this shit while they was hanging us? Man, we the most resilient people ever. Nobody more resilient than us. And once I figured that out, I said, wait a minute. They instituted fear and a lack of culture inside of us to the point where everything that we made, we gave it to them, because now if Consul opened up a store, black people don't know that they're supposed to go to him because we don't have a culture that dictates it. So now when I teach the history of what we've done, people will get a chance to see the greatness of themselves. Most black boys don't know the greatness of themselves. They think they niggas. It took me to go to prison for a man in the Nation of Islam to tell me I wasn't a nigga, and he showed me. And once he showed me my history, everything else changed.
Right. So let me give you a quick example of that, George, okay? Because I work with young people. Now, I remember I was doing a session in a high school. I was teaching Black history after school, right? There was this Ethiopian boy. He was just really disrespecting the process. He wasn't paying much attention, talking to his boys in the room. So, you know, I worked brain on him. I pulled up an image of a great Ethiopian revolutionary. All right. And then I started spitting fire about that revolutionary, how he conquered the Italians, etc. I got his attention.
Yeah,
now, what the young man said to me is, yeah, my dad used to tell me about this. You know, he sat up straight after that and was very attentive.
He saw it.
It's cultural amnesia in terms of especially our young people. And we have to thank Kofa and remind them of their history so that they can start pulling up their pants and walking straight. It's key. It's a key element in education.
Yeah, I was studying the Black Power movement, right? And I did a video last year when Black Power was a global phenomenon, right? And in that study, I never knew that they had the Black Power movement in London. I had never heard of Darkest Hour people, right? So when I see that, I was like, damn, I'm intrigued. I'm looking at it more. Then they had a Black Power movement in Australia, a Black Power movement in Bermuda. And I'm like, I just thought it was the American and Caribbean. I didn't know it was all the way over there. So now I'm looking at it, I'm like, come on, man. They made sure that we didn't know none of this stuff, man. Because now this is the thing. I wouldn't have been striving to be a drug dealer. I'd have been trying to be like Darkest Hour or somebody. But you don't teach us our history. So now if I'm trying to be like the next Stokely Carmichael, I ain't got time to be killing my own people. I'm gonna be patronizing my own stores. This is what
I use lot. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Richie.
Frank.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, Frank?
No, I had to come on the chat thing, this live thing, because obviously Brother
Frank.
George was saying certain things in it, and I wanna hello?
Frank.
Yes, I can hear you.
Let me just ask you something first. You're black, yes?
Pardon?
You're black, yes?
Of course, Brother Rich, we've been on Brother Minister's things in it. Like, yeah, brother, you know me, Brother Rich.
I'm clarifying these things here so people understand who's talking.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I want people to understand who's talking.
Yeah,
I know you're going to start to challenge certain things you've been hearing. So before we get into the narrative of who's this, where, you understand? That's why I'm just introducing you. So yeah, bro, speak your piece. Say what you got to say, brother.
Okay, I'm going to, like, Brother George, you're my brother. You're my brother, and I respect you as a brother. But for certain things you were saying, I'm not in agreement with. Like, this whole, like, I feel you're trying to say Beyonce is channeling through the ancestors and this is the moment for everyone to wake up. But we've had many moments like this, innit? I'm not really in agreement with what you're saying. Like, you're on this Beyonce kind of bandwagon kind of thing. Like, Beyonce, for me, and every now and then she jumps on this Africana kind of wave, and she will, like she done with the Lion King movie. She jumped on the wave. She got a whole bunch of African artists to make songs for the Lion King movie they produced in, I think it was 2018. But my thing is, we don't need Beyonce to validate us or awaken us or anything like this. We as black people collectively know what needs to be done and how we need to do it. The question is, are we going to do it and are we going to rise and do it? and brother George, I know myself in it. I really know myself. I'm an African for real in it. I'm from the country, the so-called colonized country of Cameroon. I can trace my lineage. Like I know myself for real in it. So that's all I wanted to say, brother George. In it, like
Let me speak to that. Let me speak to that.
okay,
All right,
speak
so
to it. Speak to it.
two things. Two things.
Okay, two
I
things.
never. Hold on. Let me speak. I was quiet when you spoke.
Yeah, go on.
What I'm saying. Two things you said. I'm not saying Beyonce just for Beyonce. I said it's time that we start giving the ancestors their props because the ancestors will speak through anything. But those of us that woke got to understand when we hear the ancestors. I also said that fuck Disney. I spoke about all of our inventions and all the things that we brought to the world that we are not aware of. So we think the white man is God in our minds. So that what I'm saying is when the ancestors do speak, we don't even hear. Most of us don't even believe in that ancestor shit. We believe in Muhammad, Buddha, or fucking Jesus. So what I'm saying is we're never going to see ourselves or manifest ourselves out of this situation because when the great mother and the great father do speak, we don't see it. Beyonce, it could be Joy, it could be any one of us that could be channeled to get the information through. I don't give a fuck about Disney or none of that shit. I know the white man control the banks, TV, and everything else, but he don't control the spirit realm. So that's all I'm saying. So what I'm saying is you got to see, what I'm saying is as much as we be on here talking about ancestor veneration and ancestor worship from the Caribbean, Africa, Brazil, the Americas, when it's time to apply it, we don't even know when to apply it. And the reason why we don't know when to apply it because we don't know ourselves. That's what I'm saying. I don't give a fuck about how many banks he controls. I don't care about the Oppenheimer family and the diamond mines and all that kind of shit. That's worldly stuff. We talking about something from a more spiritual aspect of it. That's what I'm saying. I'm speaking from a metaphysical, spiritual aspect. And that's the part where I'm saying where I'm saying that you wasn't recognizing. So that's where we had the problem. It doesn't matter what Beyonce is doing or what George is doing. What I'm saying is sometimes the information is brought out through our ancestors, man, and we got to be able to see it because they're not going to do it for us. We got to do it. But when the messages are there, we got to pick up on the message and take that thing to another level and push ourselves forward. I don't care, like you said, you're a real African. What's that? Because you come from Cameroon? I'm in America. Well, listen, the bloodline is a bloodline. We're still, all of us are African. There's no such thing as a real African. We're all African. So, and that's another problem. We got to get out of this shit. So you just made my point. So by just that comment alone, when I see a so-called African-American, a so-called African, and a so-called African from the Caribbean all moving together in music and unison, and I can see that, and I know our history, that shit made me feel good because that's not something that you normally see. So I know the white man control the TV, but how come that couldn't be the ancestors pushing that forward for us to see it now and take it to the next level? Just why not? Because we can't see past the white man. He's our God.
Frank,
it's impossible.
Hold up, George. What's your response to that, Frank?
No, my response to that is that I've seen that in real life, innit? I've seen Africans, Caribbeans, and Americans come together in real life, innit? It didn't take a Beyonce movie or a Disney movie to make me see that in real life. That's my response to that. And another thing.
Can I come in?
Okay,
guys?
go on.
Come true, millionaire goddess. Come true.
So I understand what Frank was saying, but my response to that is try to be more sensitive that that's not the reality for a lot of people. And I think that's what George is saying. George is saying that not everywhere in a diaspora people have the opportunity to see that. If there are people in Brazil who don't see Black Americans and someone from Nigeria all like integrating and socializing and actually building together. That may be the reality. Even in America, that may be my reality in Brooklyn, New York, but that may not be the reality in Columbus, Ohio. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so I think that what he's saying is that the imagery is a global imagery. This is an image that has gone out throughout the globe. But I put in the private chat because while George Macon was speaking, I personally have an issue with continental Africans always mocking diasporans for our lost history. I think that comment that you made by saying that you were a real
African, right?
And I can trace that. It is a slap in the face to you can't on one hand say, I know you're my brother. You start off by saying you're my brother.
But
I know you're
real African.
you know
Listen,
right? Hold on, let me finish.
Okay, go on,
English,
go on.
He's speaking English. He doesn't have another language he can speak to, right? He doesn't have 8-10 generations that he can go back and say, my family is from this particular village somewhere. And you know this, but you chose to bring that up. It was irrelevant to the conversation. Just to throw that in there. By the way, I'm a real African. All I'm saying that is, you might have your reasons why, but please be sensitive. If somebody really is your brother and somebody really is your sister, understand that not everybody in the diaspora the history is lost. So bringing that up is not cool.
No, like okay. I think we've got a couple of things misconstrued here, innit? The only reason I really brought that up and I said that terminology, but this guy, my brother George, was talking like I don't know myself. This is the type of brother that he would rather go and back the white man. So I had to show him where I'm coming from and what I'm about. Do you feel what I'm saying? George,
no. Tell me why did I say it though? But see, let me speak to that real fast.
Okay, yeah, speak to it, brother. Speak to it.
Hold on. I said it because you start talking about Disney and you start speaking as if I'm speaking and I don't know what I'm talking about. So I had to correct you. I had to explain to you African American history and all the things that we do that move the 21st century. All the inventions that we make that we don't know our history. So we go along with everything that the white man say. So now white Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, if the white man don't say it's not true. So now when I come and say, listen, we know he owned that. But guess what? I believe that the ancestors are speaking right now. Nobody can see it because we can't see past Disney. And I'm saying, fuck Disney.
Yeah. I would just like to say, I wish that video was done by India Arie instead of Beyonce, but that's just a side note. I would have preferred for it to be done by a sister who already, what I'm saying is that she's a sister who already reflects and shows a love and admiration for the continent, for African culture. If you look, if anybody wants to check out any of her latest videos, she has the most beautiful head wraps. She has beautiful, chocolatey, sexy men in her videos, always promoting Black love. Like, I would have preferred for that.
You know who does good videos as well? Hold up. Solange, Beyonce's sister.
Guess what, Richie? But I'm glad y'all said that because y'all making my point even further. That's why the ancestors didn't use them. Because they don't have the cachet to get global for people to see the imagery. See, optics, imagery, seeing that to the point where you like, damn, I'm seeing something like the sister said. Where we come from, you don't get a chance to see the bridging of the gaps of all these different melanated cultures coming together. So now when Beyonce did it, we know what the white man represent, but can we just one time see beyond the white man?
No, listen.
Let me come in. I don't know. I don't like it. It's kind of difficult. It's Disney. It's kind of all right. Cool.
Hold up, George. Hold up, George. 1 second. Yeah, I hear where you're coming from, Frank. Yeah, I understand that it's a corrupted source, and as we covered in the first part of the show, yeah, nobody's disputing that. Yes. No one's disputing that. But the key element to understand is everybody's level of consciousness starts and goes at different levels. No, we're not all at the same level. Right. So it's a good thing that you had knowledge of self in certain ways long before any stupid video needed to come out for you to see. Right. I'm with you with that one, like totally. And again, Beyonce doing the video, as inspiring as it can be, or whatever the case, it don't change the weather for me, Frank. It don't change the weather for you. It don't change the weather for George and for most of us.
It's not supposed to change it for us. It's supposed to change it for the. It's supposed to validate what we're saying to the masses.
All right. Well, let me chime in on this, Bill, man.
Go ahead, bro.
I mean,
hold up, Konsu. Hold up. After you speak, Konsu, I want to hear from Spice because she just came on, yeah? So go through Konsu. But everyone remember, I want to hear from Spice.
Well, from my perspective of things, I mean, first of all, the facts of that that piece of art that Beyonce created is that she headhunted 6 directors from Africa, master cinematographers, etc., from Africa to produce that. She wanted to produce a piece of art.
Thank you.
Also, in terms of Disney Plus, I would say that's big game, personally. You know, if you or I did it, we might get 100 viewers, maybe a couple thousand. Disney Plus, you're reaching, as our melanated goddess, you're reaching all corners of the planet or flat Earth.
Goddess.
The next thing, right, is in terms of Beyonce. I mean, people keep on saying, yeah, she's an agent, etc. It goes back to the victim mentality. We don't know that as fact. What I see about Beyonce is she did, in a Super Bowl, she paid homage to Malcolm X, all right, to billions of people. So whether she's controlled or not, just like the movie Get Out, she's just once in a while she just pokes through. She does a beautiful piece of art, making a statement, then she goes back to what she's doing. So I do not believe fully that Beyonce is just some kind of person that's being controlled and, you know, it's all some conspiracy agenda. The final thing I like to say is in terms of what George was saying about communication through our ancestors. Keep in mind, from my spiritual practice and as an experience, the ancestors do not communicate literally. Ancestors won't come down to say to you and say, this is what you need to do, do it like this. No.
Thank you, brother.
Symbolism, parallels, parables, and metaphors.
Thank you.
So what we see in Beyonce's art is she's not saying, I'm pro-black through words. She's saying through our art, through the symbolism. And in terms of the Baphomet, you know, and all of that, what to say to that? Just listen to any of Brother Panic's lectures. We live in a time of, or this planet is a dual planet. It's all about dualities. It's about positive and negative, agreeable and disagreeable. We all have good and evil within us. So maybe the symbolism she's portraying by using Hathor and Baphomet is saying, you know what, we're dual beings. So, you know, you can't interpret it as, oh, this is dark and evil and there's wizards. You know, she's communicating her art through symbolism, which is how the ancestors communicate. So for me, Beyonce is, you know, just like in the movie American Gods, Beyonce is in the realm of a modern American goddess. What are the American gods, the modern gods? Their internet, their media, I would say their music, you know. So for me, Beyonce, that the critical mass that she is projecting to puts her in a realm of a higher being. And I do not believe that is solely controlled by the Wizard of Oz in the background. And the final thing I say is keep in mind, we talk about Jay-Z, Illuminati and all that drama. Keep in mind, I've got some old cassette tapes of Jay-Z, and he was spitting about Nubian knowledge. He was spitting pure knowledge, pure fire in his early days. I do not believe he's forgotten those primary, you know, kind of knowledge that he got back in the 80s and 90s. So I don't buy it. I just think that they're trying to communicate and they know they're in a place where they can't say it blatantly. So they'll be on code.
Thank you, bro. I believe it's the ancestors communicating through them.
Hold up.
I'm shutting up.
That's true, Country. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm shutting up.
Let me hear Spice, and then I gotta bring Frank back in because I want Frank to respond as well. Go true, Spice.
Brother, but at the end of the day, you need to understand that even though you're saying yes, Disney, and I hear everyone's point because everyone's making very real points. You understand? Obviously, we know that there's information that she can get out to a wider audience and whatever, but we can't deny the attachments like Disney is a corporation built on pedophilia. You understand what I'm saying to you? I don't believe Beyonce is no type of higher being. You understand? This romanticism of certain things is dangerous. So you have to understand where people are coming from. But I understand that information will get out however it needs to, necessary. You understand? And it's in different ways. But at the same time, we do know that people are riding and puppeteering of something that is now has become colloquialized and a trend. You understand? So you can only really understand where someone's coming from according to their intentions. You understand what I'm saying? Which will be you understanding who they are personally. Because like Richie said, it's something that is more spirit is more connection to do with yourself and not everything else. You understand? So everyone made good points. Then what's his name, Brother Frank? Yeah, you
Yep.
have to be careful because everyone can say you know yourself, but when you made that statement of I'm a real African, that's a European mindset. That's very decisive kind of mindset. You understand what I'm saying? So people like to claim say they know themselves, but a lot of people are still holding on to European concepts. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be careful for that. I don't believe that it's genuine. Obviously, everything good or bad, light and dark, serves a great purpose. So even though it might be Beyonce or whatever, and it might be, kind of shirky and not coming from a good place, everything plays a part. You get me? Everything serves a purpose. But I think we need to be careful, like Brother Victor was saying, of this romanticism. You understand? And then when you're saying that how you don't believe Beyonce, this, that, the other, was true because people don't really want to deal with when things are true. You understand? So if it was true, what are we supposed to ignore that? No, we're
I
not,
can't
because
really
that's
hear that good.
a problem with black people.
You're low,
We have this
Spice. You're
thing of
breaking up a
all
bit.
skin folk is king folk, and that we should be holding on to them or ignoring. You understand? That's the reason why we are where we are now. This is why we're still up to this point dealing with
Damn, I can't hear.
trauma
I
and
know she's
other
saying some
things
good
because
stuff.
we are not. You don't have to completely ban out anything, but
Spice, can you hear me?
and where everything has its places
Spice.
and draw lines. You
Spice,
understand?
can you hear us?
There's not
Spice,
confusion. Like, we're in a
Spice, can you hear
matrix,
us?
and this matrix is a place
She can't hear
of
us.
confusion.
No, she can't hear
So
us
things
right
will
now.
look like it's good when it's bad. That's bad.
She going in.
No,
When
when
you
no,
understand?
because
So
I
in
can
order
hear her
to
already.
tap into spiritually, decompartmentalize, I know where to place everything and understand that's what it is.
You're gonna have to mute it
And
until
stop
she can.
all these
Brother
ideas of
Minister.
how some want things to seem on the basis of
Yo,
feel
my brother.
good, sound good.
Y'all gotta mute her. Y'all can't just start talking over her.
Yeah, sister. What you do? Sister Black Spice. Your mic is really low. The people can't hear you.
Hi.
No, listen. Speak your piece. I'll sort it out. Give me a second. I do. But what was you gonna say, Malik? Come join us.
Oh, I was just listening, man. I don't know. I missed that, brother. I missed when Brother Frank said that
At the end of
I'm
the
a real
day,
African
whether we like it or not, but you,
thing. But I think
you too, brother
Spice.
George, you have to
sister, like,
be.
go on, my brother.
Yes.
Still can't hear.
She still can't hear, and she's
I
blazing.
gotta boot her off then. Yeah, look,
Sister's
now
going
she's
in.
mute.
Sister's going in and out. She can't hear.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask George something quickly.
Go true. Who's that?
Yeah.
Victor.
Hey, George. You know, Yeah, Jules. You know, when you saw that symbolism, you know, the imagery of that Beyonce video, you know, there was a bit where you saw like a silver surfer coming into the earth. What did you get from that?
Oh Lord.
Was
George,
that for
is
me?
George still there?
Oh yeah. I
Frank,
don't know.
don't worry, I'm bringing you back
Lord.
in a minute.
I'm here.
Oh Lord, I don't. Where are we going? Where are we going with this symbolism thing? Man, are
Right.
too. That's the problem with us. We're too stuck on
Yeah.
symbolism
No,
and symbols,
yeah.
No,
and not
Hold on,
no,
it's metaphor, isn't it?
tangibles
It's
and
a metaphor,
concrete
like
things.
what country said.
let me
What's
speak to
that?
that. I've seen certain things. Some things I understood. Some things I've seen I didn't understand. That's why I said I like to talk to some African brothers and sisters that may see things from an African perspective that I don't know.
Yeah, just to quick chime in on
Right.
that.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, there's an African saying that there is a knowledge that you cannot eat.
Yes.
Right. So as I said earlier, you know, through the spiritual experience that I have had and the journeys I have taken, I have, from my personal understanding, the ancestors do not speak literal. They
Right.
speak with symbols, parallels, and metaphors. When you're communicating through art, like our sister Beyonce did, she is not communicating literal. It's open to interpretation based on your own knowledge base. You know, so I don't diss the sister at all, and I love what she's doing in
I
terms
thought it
of,
was amazing.
you know,
I thought
reaching
it
a
was amazing.
critical mass of billions of people.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I mean, me myself, and for me,
Okay.
I'll mute back up. I just want to say, for me, I just thought it was amazing seeing African Americans and our African Caribbean people all together on the same stage together. Nobody arguing about who's what. We was communicating and moving through art, the imagery, the optics. That's I'd never seen nothing like that in a long time. That was amazing to me.
Wow. Wow. I don't. Oh, wow.
Let me say just jump in and say
Wow.
this, yeah.
Wow.
Like that experience that brother George is saying, yeah, like we can't take away nothing from that. You know what I mean? That stands to it by itself, in it, because that's a powerful thing that he's experienced, and respect due. But I want to say this though on the Beyonce thing. I think brother Terry touched on it when he was saying that sometimes it's not necessarily them that is doing it. It's the video person, the person making the video. He's doing all of this. So a lot of the time, the artist comes to the video shoot, the clothes are already there. They just put on the clothes and they do the video. So a lot of the symbolism and stuff that we're gonna see, and if somebody breaks it down in the future and stuff, Beyonce may really not know anything about that still.
Yeah, well, on that note, good brother, Beyonce was the director and producer of that video, and she headhunted 6 African directors to support her with that. So that visual that we saw was pure African. There might have been white finances, etc., but in terms of the production and direction, Beyonce was the executive producer and director.
And I think you making that point is very important also, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that, my brother. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that kind of changes it a little bit as well, because if it was the Jewish people doing it, or the music industry, then we know that they're gonna be pushing their agenda, as well as using our love to reconnect to our original self, the people in the diaspora, and try and profit of it, as well as put in their take on our traditions. You know what I mean? Because they will put something
Yeah. I mean, what I saw is blatantly all African, man.
Who's that, brother? Who said that?
Yeah, me. I said what I saw, all the symbolism was strictly African.
Okay. Well, there you have it then, my brother.
So
what do you say?
It makes sense what Country said, that she went out and sourced a lot.
When you mentioned that thing about, I haven't seen it to be honest with you, but when you mentioned that symbol of flying, what did you mean by that though? So, because I'm gonna have to watch it after this conversation.
Yeah, that's a very deep imagery. Yeah, very deep symbolically, spiritually, it's very deep what she did there with that thing. Because in Africa, yeah, we all have a spiritual story, a cosmological story of us coming from the universe into the earth. Yeah, that's where our origins come from. So the fact that we saw a black man or a black whatever coming through, yeah, as a comet into the earth, actually symbolizes, you know, if it reaffirms all the African cosmological story of us coming from the stars into
Yeah, I
the
saw that.
earth.
They spoke about that too. She said that as her
Yeah,
father told her that look and watch the stars. Yeah, they talked about that. And they showed like the shaman or like the,
yeah,
I don't know if it was like a voodoo priest when he was beating on the drums and he blew something. Yeah, I seen, but see, I didn't know what that stuff meant. That's why I said I
absolutely.
was African brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I knew that couldn't have been the white man behind that. No way.
Hey, you people.
What?
Frank.
Hello? Can I just chime in for a little bit, please?
That's all, Frank. Come in. No, because I know you're biting at the bit. So don't please don't have a ceremony.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say some things now. I'm going to say something. Some people might get offended, but I think we need to do in raw truth, innit? Like, okay, cool. It's a good movie, innit? It's a good movie. There's good symbolism, but we as a people, I think we get too stuck on symbolic things, innit? Where we like symbols and symbolic things, but we don't like tangibles and things that are concrete and hard proof. And another thing, innit, like Malcolm X, our wise elder, told us never to follow celebrities and entertainers, innit? That's what he said. That's facts, innit? Like, we should not be following celebrities and entertainers. Now, I understand some of us here might not have seen black people united in harmony, black people on the continent, black people in South America, black people in the Caribbean, black people in the Americas united. I see these things every day, innit? So that so maybe that's why I'm not wowed. I'm not mesmerized by
Respectfully,
this whole movie. But
see that we don't see. You said you see because we all black here. So I just need you to
no,
give
but I'm saying I see it in it. Like, I'm seeing it because you're saying you've never seen this before, brother George. Those were your words, in it. You've never seen black people from Jamaica.
Right, what I'm saying is I'm asking a specific question. You're saying
okay. What's your question?
My question is, show me where you see a unification of African Americans, African and Caribbean, Caribbean Africans, where we can see the model that we should follow. I want to see it. I want to know.
See the model we should follow.
Yeah, well, we see the model of what
I think you're an American, right? So you like from what happened in America, like Marcus Garvey spoke these things, innit? We saw that with the Marcus Garvey movement. Malcolm X spoke these things, innit? And I don't know, innit? Maybe this is a bit before your time, whatever, but I believe that like the Marcus Garvey organization had how many members? 6 million, 7 million, I don't know, but we were all unified in it. And in that movement, there was Africans, there was Caribbeans, there was Americans. We've seen this all before. For me, it's nothing new. It's nothing to get wild about, nothing to get excited about in it. We need to deal with tangibles in 2020.
Well, see, hey, bro, let me ask you a question.
Okay, ask me a question, brother. Ask me a question. Go on.
Have you ever been to America?
Have you ever no, I've never been to America. I've never been.
So this is the problem. This is what I'm saying. This is the problem.
Okay.
You speak about Marcus Garvey, and you speak about the how people came together. You have to understand. It's like me going. It's like me speaking on Cameroon, and I've never been to Cameroon. You have to put things into context of what you're saying. The year, what was going on at the time, and why these people were together. As opposed to what went on in the 20s was totally different than the 50s. What went on in the 50s was totally different than the 70s. So what I'm saying is, when you go back to the 20s, during the time of Marcus Garvey, and the 30s, during the time of Elijah Muhammad, black people was being hung wholesale. So we didn't have all these breakdowns because Africans wasn't really coming here yet like that. So what you had here was Caribbean and African people that's really the same people. And we didn't see each other as different, like Trinidad, African American. No, you was just black. That was it. That phenomenon didn't come into the 70s. Once you had this division. So what I'm telling you is, when we in the Caribbean and the African American
when we see that image of African Americans, African, Caribbean all moving together, that's the imagery that we haven't seen and since the 20s. But in the 20s, the people was forced to be together because they was just all niggas. Now you got people, even over there, where you got African and the Black British don't even get along. We think we're different. We're moving different. So when I see that imagery, to me, that's the ancestors speaking, because that's something different than what we're accustomed to seeing. So what I'm saying is, I'm Black just like you, but I know for a fact that in the Americas and in the Caribbean, that unity is not there. That unity was there during the time of Marcus Garvey. That unity was there during the time of Elijah Muhammad, because we didn't see each other through these ambiguous terms. We seen each other as Black people. That changed in the last 40 years. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, George, do you think integration derailed our progression?
See, that's a hard. Let me say it this way. That's a hard thing, because that's a different topic because I think, so let me just put it this way. So, because I want to answer it right without offending nobody. Depending on where you come from, depending on who you are and where you came from, it depends on how integration affected you. Because in America, you had some believe that we built America and we should be a part of this. You had some that believe that, we should be separate from, like Marcus Garvey said, Africa for the African. Now, my proof is Marcus Garvey was Jamaican, but when he came to America, nobody gave a fuck that he was Jamaican. We cared that he was Black, and we followed him. So what I'm saying is, you had a large portion that believed that we should be separate, the Martin Delaney's, and then you had the Du Bois types, and the Booker T. Washingtons that believe. So it depends. Some people wanted to integrate because they believed that we would have a chance. Some people wanted to be totally separate. So I believe that regardless of whatever route we took, as long as we wasn't unified, we was going to be destroyed anyway. Because before we was integrated, we was building cities, but they was destroying them, burning us up. They was burning our cities down and forcing us to be dependent on them. So we got to look at the history. Rosewood, North Carolina, Tulsa. I mean, they was burning our cities down, making us dependent upon them. So it didn't matter whether we was integrated or not integrated. Without being culturally dependent upon each other. See, a lot of people like to use that integration shit, but they don't know the historical aspects of it and what was happening to our people and why we even wanted to integrate. It was a reason. We didn't want to just go be around white people. So I mean, it's just a lot of history, man.
That, Frank, you feeling that? Because he's
I don't know. He's talking from American perspective, innit?
That's the only thing I can talk from. That's where I'm from.
He's talking from American perspective. Out here in London, UK, I've seen all of that. I've seen all of us get together, get along, and do
that ain't
stuff.
What Richie tell me. That ain't what Richie say. He from out here where you from.
This is what I'll say to that. We've got stronger cultural ties here certain times because we're traveling more. So we're going back to our origin countries a lot more than the Americans are generally. That is the added bit that we have. But the weakened side of us as English, and where we don't have certain unities, is because there's few of us here. So we're spread out more, especially since the gentrification that's been going on really since 80s, 90s till now. We're more displaced and we're spread out more amongst the population that is mostly white. It's not like America where we have the luxury of all Black cities and even having all Black estates and all Black areas like Brixton, Hackney. It's turned into a myth now through gentrification. And a lot of poor people are being moved out of London to different places as well. So our communities are inherently smaller. So that's what I will say to that. But as I said, culturally we're stronger because we are going to our origin places.
So was Frank was it Frank who was talking or Victor?
Frank.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Frank.
So was Frank trying to say that in the UK the integration has been more positive for
No, I won't say nothing about no integration of what. Sorry, sister, what's integration to you, by the way?
I thought that was like, I guess mixing of the communities together and being fully integrated.
No,
you
because
know, your way of
when I
life.
hear integration, I think about black and white mixing and being together.
Well, that's part of it, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're mixing being together in relationships, in you know, like there's some places like Richie said in America where like you can look this up. Prince William County in Maryland, it's probably like a 90%, the county is like 90% black, which means that most of the time when you're in your car driving and you look over, the person next to you is probably a black person. And then when you go to a restaurant, the waitress is black, everybody eating food is black. I mean, it might be one white person in there, you know, like, but the majority of the town is black.
Prince George County. Prince George County.
Yeah, Prince George County. Or what did I say? Prince William? That's in Virginia. I'm sorry. Yeah. Prince George County, right? So, that's a county that's not very integrated, right? Then you can go to Montgomery County in Maryland, and blacks might be like 20% of the community. So they have no choice but to integrate, meaning, you know, like their kids, like a parent, their children may have a mixed group of friends, you know, they're playing soccer, it's black, white, and everybody's on a soccer team. It's integrated. That's what I meant. Integration.
I want to ask Frank something though, real quick. That's important. Frank,
Yes, brother.
do you believe that it's okay for us to have interracial relations with white people, with white women and black women with white men today?
No, because no, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because when we do it, when black people globally have interracial relationships, it's never from a positive place. It's always from a place of, oh, I've arrived, I've come up now, I got my white girl, I got my white man, and I'm better than you black people over there. So my answer to that is no.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. I got no other question. That's all I wanted to know. You good with me then?
Okay.
I know where George is going with
My
that
brother
question.
George just
There.
gave him the
I know where he's going with that question right
Let's
there.
clarify something that Konsu was saying earlier.
Because I can't explain. I've been side-eyed lately with
Speak.
Hello?
I don't know. I thought he was trying to get everybody to be quiet, but then it got quiet.
Yeah, it got real quiet.
That's what I'm saying.
But what I will say in it, while it's quiet in it, is that for me, when the ancestors are working for me, that's when white supremacists, white cops, white judges, any white supremacist dies in it. That's what I see as the ancestors working. For me, innit? That's my thing of the ancestors are working for us. When these white races die and they're in graves, that's when I say yes, Ogun, Oya, whoever is working.
I agree. I'll ask anybody, like, do we really?
Frank.
How many ask a question as an African American? Do we really that studies? Do we really believe in ancestor worship, or do we just like to talk about it? Do we even know when to apply it or when it's supposed to be applied? Because this stuff be heartbreaking to me when I hear some of my forget the people that's in the street.
Gonna ask Frank a question, please.
Huh? But when I hear some of our woke people, man, like our woke people, like when do we know when to apply it? Like man, the white man to me, I'm just saying, I'm not writing everything I'm saying. This is just emotion. But the white man is like God to us, man. Like this stuff be confusing to me sometimes. I know that he owns the banks. I know that he owns Disney. But when we dealing in the spiritual realm, that had nothing to do with this shit, man. I mean, we talk about ancestor worship and the power of the ancestors, but do we really believe this? Or is it just talk?
For me, I believe most black people don't believe in it. Most black people are scared of
Yes.
that other stuff in it. They think is voodoo, witchcraft, or whatever in it. Like they don't believe in this stuff in it. That's the majority. But you have a certain people that cut from a particular cloth that believe in believe in that thing and practice it. And
Yeah.
and those people are few and far in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, I define it as cultural amnesia. You know, we've forgotten. You know, so we have to sankofa. You know, but I mean, it's also, I mean, the modern terminology would be Stockholm syndrome in terms of psychology. I mean, I remember I saw a post the other day. It was an American sister, a young sister, maybe about 19, and she was talking about her Euro-American boyfriend, and like they were dating, and then she said she checked his phone, and in his phone, he was texting his friend, and he was saying, yeah, if this was like 300 years ago, she would be my slave, and he was doing all this kind of stuff, and it's just like yeah, I mean, she was dating this guy, and he turned out to be the total opposite of what she imagined, and I just think it's a Stockholm syndrome where we just the syndrome where you love your oppressor. I mean, Black people love anything spiritual. So if you're taking away our indigenous practices of our ancestors, say when we were kidnapped, and you're replacing it with some form of spirituality, like a Book of Babel, we'll take it and run with it, man. It's something to, it's something to connect back, connect back. So we've kind of stuck with that in terms of I'm not trying to offend anyone who's religious, but I would say 1,000 years ago that did not exist in terms of who we are as a people. But if someone who's oppressed and suppressed and tortured, and their religious practices are taken away from them, if you're going to give them a book that is spiritual and they need something to connect to in terms of a higher force, you take and run with it wholesale. And I think that's what we're doing as a people.
Hey, let me say this too. Let me speak to that, because I'm gonna tell you something. I got a Cuban grandmother, and when my grandmother practiced, African, spirituality and different beliefs, and she used to have all the kind of stuff. Yeah, but this is the thing. Some of the family members used to say that was wicked and all that. And my grandmother used to say, no, you only say that because you conditioned to believe in this white Jesus. And my grandmother died when I was real young, right? So some of the stuff she was never able to teach me because I was a kid. But this is the thing. I start knowing spirituality and certain things when people would bring it to me. I had already knew it without even studying it. My grandmother used to always tell me that you was born with it in you. My grandmom used to tell me that I was the embodiment of the spirituality. And so for me, I don't have to be in Africa to feel and understand the ancestors. Like I know it. My grandmother told me when I was a kid. I used to see her do the practice.
Yes.
So the thing was, she was telling me, you don't need a book. You are the book. My grandmother told me. So I'm passionate about this, and a lot of people, I get pushback from my own people, because what I'm saying, I know the white man owned Disney, but I know when I'm seeing certain things that to me that was a spiritual connection. I said, no, that's the ancestor speaking. We gotta know it's the ancestor speaking though, and stop giving all the props to the white man. Sometimes just take it back. Give it, like, we don't never give props to our ancestors. That's why when I'm asking, do we really believe it? Because I don't never hear us saying all praise due to the ancestors. Thank you. No, we scared to talk like that.
Shout out to Granny Macon. Shout out to Granny Macon.
Yeah, shout out to Granny. Yeah. Big ups to Granny.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we act like we scared, man. We really act like we scared. We man, I hear people say all praise due to the Most High, all praise, but we won't never say all praise due to the ancestors. Thank you, ancestors, for sending us a message or validating something. We won't talk like that, but we'll come and big up to the ancestors. But when it's time to give it its props, we don't do it. And that's the part that's scary to me, because I ain't worried about the guys that's doing the home invasions, killing people. I'm more worried about the woke people that I'm around.
You know what?
All of you.
Hold on 1 second, Victor. But the funniest thing is, it's the same thing as in what Beyonce has done. We're giving all the props to Beyonce, but Beyonce is not the only person that has able to do that production.
I agree.
Because Beyonce is running with that name, and people think that she is the producer and director, but the real truth is, you have to check out the company that they've invested in and who are the presidents and the directors within that company, which if you do your research, you would check and find out that there's two separate people within that company that have put that work in to making that company successful. Beyonce just running off with the name.
I agree. But you know what, Terry? But what I'm saying is, but you know what, Terry? When it comes back, it goes back to the money of the white man and his paper money and all of that kind of stuff. What I'm saying, when we dealing with the spiritual realm don't care about this physical shit. This is just the experience. When we go back to a spiritual realm, it don't matter what company it is. It don't even matter what Beyonce. What I'm saying is the ancestors speaking through these vessels, and we got to be able to see it. It don't even matter if it's Beyonce. It won't matter if it's Beyonce.
Because the spirit of our ancestors brings people together to produce something. So when that spirit comes about, it influences people to coming off with a result. That result, they weren't expecting it to be what it was supposed to be. They think that they what they wanted, but the spirit itself has brought them together to making that result. No one knows the end result of what's going to happen. They just know they have all different ideas which they put together to creating something.
And you know what, Terry? Just think of it. This is how my mind works, right? This is how my mind operates. We tell a story that we was stolen from Africa. We was robbed of a thorough knowledge of stuff. We lost our language, our culture, our fourways, our moreways. We lost everything. But in 2020, we had the shortest slavery in the history of the world. We invented damn near everything that moved the 21st century. We got all kinds of accomplishments, right? And with all the things that we say we lost in 2020, we're having a conversation about African Caribbeans, African Americans, and Africans building together to create something African. To me, if that's not the ancestors showing us that none of this shit was lost, we thought it was lost. The ancestors it's still here. We gotta believe it's there, though.
Yo, my brothers, let me say this because my battery's gonna die here. So if I leave, apologies.
One thing quickly though, I want to let you speak. Just 1 second. What I was gonna say is, if you go 20 years back, what will make you think that me and you would meet at the Sinetta Awards?
Right, I agree. That's the ancestors, brother.
Okay, so yeah, Malik, go on, continue.
No, I was just gonna say my battery's gonna die here, so I just wanna if I leave, I just wanna bless up everybody. Brother George, I haven't forgotten about the Marcus Garvey thing as well, man. We're gonna get onto that, as soon as possible as well. But I would just want to follow the conversation somewhere different as well, yeah. Like, do we think as a collective of black people, in different places of the world, do we think that our children or the younger generation are gonna fight this liberation cause, race first?
That's a hard conversation. That's hard. I can in America. I'm not really sure, but I can't speak for everywhere else. But I know in America, that's a toss up.
Yeah, same thing over here still, to be honest with you. So my fear is, we know that we're not gonna be able to win anything if we're not race first. Like, there's not gonna be any real victory for us. So my fear is that we're just gonna keep diluting out, until there's not gonna be any, like, even the conversations we're having now, are passionate things about Africa and things like this. It's not gonna matter soon. Garvey, who I'm so passionate about, it's not even gonna matter. The children not gonna want to care about that. We're moving into a different world right now, man, and I have fears right now, to be honest with you, my family.
Yeah, I personally don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, I personally think it's gonna work in our favor.
How so?
Because right now the narrative is they trying to get our backs against the wall. Like us, they even gave us a name. They gave us the name BAME. They're putting all the blame on us. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So what that's gonna do, that's gonna make us realize that what's happening. Yeah, and we're just gonna organize and galvanize ourselves together. Because when you look when you step outside here and you see, there's a lot of us in fear. Yeah, a lot of us are compliant. We're acquiescing to everything that they're telling us. But when you look at other races, they're not doing what whoever's telling them to do. But it's only us Do you know what I'm saying to you? That in fear, I mean, I'm going to use the mask thing as an example. When you go outside, the most people that have the mask on are black people. Yeah? Do you know what I'm saying to you? And we know that we black people, them things that are very, very, very detrimental to our health. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But a lot of people don't know themselves. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I think it starts from us rebelling against what we've been told to do. As simple as that.
But in America, the black community definitely was not wearing that mask. In America, the black community was definitely hit very hard with corona. There was numerous instances of in the black urban environments, people were having barbecues, having cookouts, they were on the street, no social distancing, no mask, no nothing. And I mean, if you just want to take New York City as an example, New York was hit really, really hard. So I don't think that we have a problem being defiant and rebellious, right? I think that we choose to be defiant and rebellious on the wrong daggone thing, that we need to execute some kind of wisdom on the things that we could be rebellious on, and things that will actually advance us as a community.
But are you saying that what wearing the mask, us not wearing a mask is why a lot of people died in New York? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that in the black community, they were not social distancing. They were not following the guidelines. They were not. And in the black community, they was hit.
What is that why they died?
So if you're saying that, I don't know, you want to come up with another conspiracy theory as to why, and it's not just New York City, but that's the reason why.
The reason why, let me tell you the reason why a lot of them dropped dead, yeah, because a lot of them are unhealthy, yeah, a lot of them are unhealthy. They're not good healthily. They're not good in good shape.
So that's even worse, because if you know that you're not healthy, right? That's even worse. If you know the community, we should say the same way they say at risk. We know we at risk. So if you're at risk, then you can't do what everybody else could do, right? If you got asthma, you can't sit up in a room where everybody's smoking, right or wrong. See what I'm saying? You got asthma, you know you're at risk. You know that's going to affect you differently. So where's the common sense to say, I know I got blood pressure, diabetes, and I'm on dialysis. I might not need to go to this barbecue. See what I'm saying? It's just common sense. We want to rebel on that. Oh, the white man can't tell me I go to my barbecue if I want to. But they don't rebel in other areas where it could benefit us as a collective. This just wasn't a good exercise of being, when you're choosing selective rebellious, that wasn't the right time.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it back to brother. I'm sorry, but I want to bring it back to Brother Minister's initial question, which is a very, important question. And he said, he's concerned about generations to come. Well, my perception of that is the analogy of water. Water always finds its way back to the ocean. And I just believe that somehow, we don't know how, it could be through the ancestors. The ancestors do not operate literally, all right? That our young people will find out their way back to the ocean in some way or form. It may not be in a form from the past, but you do see little icklings of it. I mean, Family First is a good example. I mean, we don't know where they're going, but that they were all 20-somethings mostly, and a couple 30-somethings, but that was the next generation right there. Black Lives Matter, let's not go there with Black Lives Matter, but they did mobilize our people into some level of consciousness, no matter what their nefarious intentions are. So I do have a perception somehow, I'm done, one sec, that somehow the next generation will find its way back to a path of liberation, which is really, in essence, the path of true freedom.
Yeah, let me back up. I'm gonna jump.
The only thing I gotta say to that, is there is a physical interaction in it. There's got to be from the unseen to the seen in it. There's always a physical manifestation of the unseen principle. You understand? So in that sense, there is an actual physical. If you get me, come in and physically. That's all I would say on that.
Hey, let me say this. I'm gonna jump off, Richie. Thanks for having me on. We gotta have more topics like this. I'll just say this real short. And like I said, I think outside the box. I tried not to have Freddy Krueger in my head. So even when the Wakanda movie came out, and just speaking from America, when I seen, and this is how I know the ancestors work through the spirit. And we don't even have we keep saying we've been robbed of our thorough knowledge of stuff, but the knowledge is from within. When that Wakanda movie came out, all the people that say fuck Africa or don't have a connection to Africa, man, the movie was crowded. Everybody was going. Everybody loved that Wakanda because the spirit of the ancestors is within. We may not be in Africa, but Africa's in our DNA. When I seen that movie and everybody was criticizing the movie, I seen the bigger picture. I seen African Americans that believe they had no connection to Africa all gravitate towards that fucking movie that was relevant to something in Africa. So when I looked at that, I said, damn, you know what? Man, no matter what they try to do, they could never take Africa out of us. People was putting on dashikis, even if it was for a short time. Something was awakening inside the spirit of our souls that's there. It's just waiting to be reawakened. It's there. I seen it when the movie came out. Now people may have went back to what they was doing, but that's proof and evidence that no matter what, that spirit, that essence is there. We just got to find ways to reawaken it back up in us. So that's just
100%. Yep.
And that's why you're able to. That's where you're able to find out that you see this is where the spiritual warfare comes into place, because everything you see, whether it's negative or positive, you see Black Lives Matter, you see all the Black Panther, you see Beyonce. It's waking something up. What we don't realize that is drawing us all together in its factors. It may take long time to get to where it needs to get to, but there is something working within everything that we are approaching or able to see. Because if it wasn't the spirit, we won't be talking on this platform in the first place.
Yep, it's a resurgence. It's a awakening. And I seen it when that movie came out. I seen brothers that's on the block, hardcore, that wouldn't care about Africa. They was like, man, that movie was dope, dog. Did you see, man? Man, did you see the women with the spears and the way they was moving? I'm looking at them like, brother, you don't even know what you just saw. And I'm telling them, I seen it with my own eyes. So I think outside the box, because I give the ancestors props. Fuck the white man. To me, that was the ancestors speaking. But it's not an overnight process. It's something that's going to take time. It's taking its time. But just for me, just the natural reaction that African Americans gave when that movie came out, we know the white man owned it. That's not the point. It's the point that it was an African-centered movie that people that's been separated from Africa looked at that and ran to it.
Yeah, the same thing happened over here, you know, my brother.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then you know what happened? Football was on soccer or football was on like a couple of weeks later, and then everybody was saying it's coming home.
Yep. No doubt.
We're not consistent in it. So I understand what you're saying, because it did trigger off something, and a lot of young people as well. Yeah, definitely.
Can I just say something before the show goes off? I wanted to say that, you know, I am truly encouraged and by the passion that the brothers are sharing. You know, as a sister, it's really warms your heart to know that you know, the Black man is still on job and he's focused on building and developing and supporting the community, you know, because you know, some people can get into gender wars and just beating down the Black man, and I haven't given up on my community. I haven't given up on the Black man. So I'm just, you know, showing some love to you guys and letting you know that I see you, I recognize this, and it's a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You know, as I said, it's a battle between the fittest of your avatar and your inner self. A lot of people are fighting that warfare.
Indeed, indeed.
Has everyone gone quiet?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
No,
okay.
we still here. Respect for that as well, sister.
I'm here. I'm here.
See,
It was an illuminating evening.
See what that feminine energy do? Everybody just went quiet, boy.
You know the truth was, yeah, I was talking, but my mic was muted.
Oh, okay.
Came in and muted everyone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're all gonna go away from this and realize something.
Yeah, we sure are. We sure are.
Brother Rich, I know you're dwelling in that mischief world of yours.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, people.
Where you mean? Where was you? But I'm back. I'm back.
What the spirit?
Yeah, sorry.
Man was on the plane and up. Man was on the spaceship and up.
Distracted there. What can I
Bruv,
say?
come on.
Yeah,
come on the
listen,
plane,
people.
man.
What? Sorry, what did I miss?
Nah,
What's the conversation?
No, nothing about that. Nothing.
Just
I'm just
okay,
so
definitely.
It's a wind down now.
Can I wrap up the show? Is
Of course
anyone
you
else?
can, brother Rich. You can wrap it up.
You get me? Has anyone got anything else to say? Any questions? Any comments before we close up?
Yeah. The Black Family Weekender. Everybody tune in, tell your friends, send around the link, and get the people ready for the Black History Weekender.
Okay. No doubt.
Yeah, Riggsy, come and speak to it. You should be
it's gonna be a tremendous 2 days. I tell you this now. The amount of people that I've been phoning and calling, this is going to be a global affair. If this is not Black Panther, I'm telling you. The people that I've been speaking to, from the Fire Bingi all the way to the streets of the Congo.
Wow. Full circle.
So send around the link, man. So everybody can share it and get. Let's get the numbers up, man. Let's get the numbers of the viewers up, man. Let's get people interacting in it, man. Come on, people. We can do this.
Definitely.
Look out for the videos. Look out for the adverts. There's more to come. More speakers coming. As you know, on Sunday we had one prolific person, which is her name is Professor Bayana Bello, that we've been using her comments of what she's been saying. But you need to go and watch that show because she's going to be on board. We have Professor James Smalls who's on board. We have
Professor James Smalls, yes.
Yeah. We have a woman that is close to Winnie Mandela, Tony Luck.
Aye.
We have Queen Diambi. We have even in the UK, we have Andrew Mohammed. We have Black History Studies. We have Black History Walks. We have the Black. We have Robin Walker. We have a couple historians. We even got a classic one that from the States called Historian from MBK. There's so much I can't even keep on reading.
And my people, you have Brother Minister.
And don't forget
Brother Minister.
AWF.
Wow.
You know, so we're not leaving no one. And the opportunity on this and for this occasion is that anybody that has services or products can come on and promote their product throughout the whole 2 days. So they can just come on, get the link, and promote their product. So at the same time, as I said to you, it's going to be 2 long days. I'm working out in the gym. I'm doing my running because I know, boy, there's no sleep.
I'm just pre-rolling my zoots and getting my food.
Yeah, we know about you, bro.
Yeah, you be saying. It's going to be a marathon run, I'm telling you. But definitely, people, you got to come out and support the channel, support what we're doing.
this is it is for the organization, and this is for the foundation for our youth, especially when we talk about our brother Professor Konsu here as well, because this organization that is going to be developed is for the actual international exchange program, in which it's been called in the late Dr. Africa's name, the DLA, Dr. Layla Africa Exchange Program. And that exchange program is for all the youth across the globe to able to interact, as well as do a final rites of passage in Africa. So this is what we're fundraising for, to able to create a foundation. We may not get exactly what we want, but we at least we give the tools to our youth for something of a foundation for them to able to move forward. And this is what this is about. So yes, family, make sure you share, subscribe, you push every narrative that is Black family first.
That's it. Most definitely support the channel in every which way. It's time to grow it. As Brother Minister said, we want to get the numbers up. We want to get people supporting it and understanding what we're doing it for. You understand? It's not just an entertainment thing. It's to edify the people and to give you something to go away, think about, and to support and go on supporting. You get me? As a movement for the youth. So yeah, it's been a tidy show. It's been a good look. We covered a few subject matters. It did start off about the Reparations Day movement. So again, to all the people that I saw down there personally, and Terry saw, and Konsu saw, big up yourself, you know what I'm saying? Big up to all the YouTubers, the people that was filming. Big up to Respect and the family first. Big up to Mega.
And don't forget, subscribe your boys to Manhood Academy Official.
Yeah, that's standard issue. Yeah, I mean, Manhood Academy is always in league.
Remember, manhoodacademyofficial.com. And for the
hold on. Say that one more time so people are clear, because there's a bit of confusion.
No. Manhoodacademyofficial.com. Period.
Okay, cool.
So, and for the women, please sign up to the internationalsistercircle.com, because there's great works happening on that side of things. Because
wait, when's that show coming back?
It's coming soon, but there's a surprise within the weekend. Something is happening on the weekend of that weekender, where the International Sister Circle is involved. And as I said, we have special guests like Queen Afua and others. So big things are happening.
Don't tell them no more names, bro. They
no,
come and
I haven't even reeled, because I've only given you 20%.
You just got the family. You just got the family names. You don't know
family. Yeah, so family, as I said, please register your children, even internationally, because we're doing programs, but they're on holiday at the moment. Go to manhoodacademyofficial.com, register your children. Ladies, register yourself with the International Sister Circle, because it's doing big things. Trust me on that one.
No doubt. All right, listen, people, once again, good show, good conversation. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up in the emails that you see in the links, blackicetv@gmail.com. Hit me up on Instagram. I always answer the messages. If you want to find me personally on Facebook, it's Black Eyes TV Richie, or you will find Mr. Riggs under his name. You also find a New Beginning page or the Black Eyes TV page. So keep up to date. We will be posting a full flyer with names, times, certain things will be coming out. I started off the show by showing the advert for the Black Family Weekender. So if you haven't seen it, just go back, watch the beginning of this video, and you'll get a chance to see it. But the video itself, by itself, is already posted on Black Eyes TV, and there's a shortened version on Instagram. So definitely, if you don't know about it, go check it out, go have a look, go see what's really good, and we will be talking to you all soon. So peace, family, peace.